Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Indeed it is. Good evening all, and welcome to another episode of Outside the Box Open Forum. Yeah, I kind of like it that way. That way you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to, come up, and who's going to show, and, it's the way creation should be, I think. Anyway, yours truly, hostess, whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter to me. Kate of Gaia. So anyway, interesting energy today. I think I put the question out, is Mercury still in retrograde or what? Anyway, it's been a good day. Don't take the wrong impression there. It's just very interesting energies. I had a great chat with Colleen earlier today, Cindy, Ninja, and and Jeremiah, which was kind of I think I shocked him. He called. Guys, I gotta say this. It's like Jeremiah called. I guess I give my cell number out. It's not. I don't have any secrets. Okay, and if you're going to be the open note of C or love unconditional, then you kind of gotta not only think that way but be that way. You see, so I didn't get a chance to. I missed the call last night. I didn't get a chance to call back. But I had to pop out and get some bread and lettuce, and so I grabbed my phone. Thought, oh, okay, well, so I walked down to get my car, and I called him, and it's kind of fun. I don't know, maybe my voice sounds different on a telephone or something. I don't know. I really don't know. But I called, and he said, "Who's this calling?" And I said, "You're the one that called me." And I just said, does my voice sound that different on the phone than the radio? And then it's like, but I understand what it is. I really do, and I'm trying my best to just like kind of break this paradigm thing, okay? And it's a no harm, no foul. It was. I find it very blissfully innocent and such a beautiful and pure energy. So again, it works both ways, right? So here's the thing, guys. If someone calls, I'll answer the phone. Someone tags me, and I'm there. I do that. I kind of expect the same thing when I call someone that they might answer their phone or Skype or whatever. It kind of works both ways. And at the end of the day, I'm still me. So maybe this is just my real. I know Colleen wasn't surprised at all. I've been trying to call her for ages, and of course other people that I talk to all the time. So it was just neat. I had a couple of very beautiful back-to-back moments like this with Bryce and his friend Ross, and of course Jeremiah. So it's. I don't know. I don't even know how to put it into words, but I got to tell you, it is. I just love the ability of knowing that I can, no preconceived notions of any kind whatsoever, and I'll if I need to call someone, I'll call them. It's just kind of what it's what I do. So if you do contact me and I get back to you, don't be surprised. I make a very concerted effort into making sure that if someone takes the time, they're as equally valuable time as mine to call or connect. I will do my utmost to make sure that within a reasonable time frame, if it's not a call or say an email or whatever. That's the other thing too I should mention. Emails. I check my emails every 2-3 days kind of thing, because I don't deal a lot in email. I do get the odd one here and there. Most of the emails I go through are all Facebook posts and whatnot. So usually if I leave it for a day or two, I've got a couple hundred emails to go through. Like I said, most of those are Facebook posts, and I'm sure, as many of you are aware, if you have that, that feature activated on Facebook, you get a lot of emails too. So, and of course, it starts to rain. So I think I might have to toss a song on here, guys, before this starts. It was looking like it was going to clear right up. It tried to rain earlier, but tell you what, I'm going to throw a song on. I'm going to throw on Field of Broken Dreams and get the energy set, and I'll be right back. So bear with me, guys. So here's Field of Broken Dreams. I just got to kind of get myself resituated here.
I've never seen before my eyes this dream. I've never known what makes this child to see. Like tears from a mountain pouring gently to the sea, a curiosity. Will you dare to touch my soul? Is love so frail that we can't hope to be more than we are, more than our hearts can see? And if for any reason on this field of broken dreams we stand to lose it all, then for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, for lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases her rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. It's never clear, this path of destiny. That's why we're here, to find our need to be. Elusive as a rainbow, we can try to steal her gold, but she'll give it willingly. Will you dare to ask her though? We'll find a way, we must believe in us. There'll come a day, we'll soar, and when it does, the sky will have no boundaries. I will challenge every sea, I will never lose this dream. 'Cause for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, for lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases her rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. On this field of broken dreams.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Oh, and he used to hit that button. Too funny. Well, there you go. All right, sort of resituated, and there you have it. So listen, guys, there's a couple of things I definitely I want to get out tonight. I'm going to go into it in obviously some detail and greater detail tomorrow on this. This for me is a very critical subject because until we start breaking through certain paradigms and programs that are running so deep and dark in people, and it's all based in duality, all right? Because when we are thinking we are doing something good, we are in fact doing something equally evil at the same time, and we have to learn to see what it is. I know that for any ego is very difficult to, quote, believe, unquote, but for me this is a critical pivot point that people need to start to really have a serious look at, because you'll find yourself taking one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back all the time. And I think it would be much better if we all just kept walking forward. That's just my opinion. You can share that or not. It's entirely up to you. But for me, I think it's a good idea. So I will mention, I'm hoping that Ninja is going to be joining me on criticalmassradio.co.uk tomorrow from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, which is 6 to 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So it's the evening show I do every Tuesday, and I've been very happy to have both Ninja and Miranda, when Miranda's available, to sit in and, the three witches of fate just sitting and nattering together. It's rather, for me, it's always really enlightening, and it's kind of why I do this. And as much as I have a selfless purpose for it, I have a very selfish reason for it too. You see, because what I give out, I also get back in kind, right? So it's you can call it the good and evil, or the duality. For me, it is, well, how is it evil? Okay, well, I'll tell you how it's evil, because there are people that tune in, and what I share can be kind of, if they're not ready for it, kind of dangerous for them, I go back to the little video Judge bows to Sovereign, and people that tried to emulate that, and there were many, not knowing fully what they were doing or what I had done. There's a lot of stuff that was done that you only see the mirror of the perfect pitch, i.e. 432. It's 2 minutes and 34 seconds long, by the way. Put that in the mirror and you'll see 432 hertz. Just a coincidence. Look away. And Brian, I did see your list of sevens. Quite interesting. Yeah. Welcome to Oz, indeed. Sevens everywhere. Yeah. So and triple sevens at that, I might add. Now, for those that aren't ready to maybe indulge in some of the things that we expose, emotionally or spiritually or whatever, yet they get the concept of what it is, there's a lot of responsibility there, and I take a great deal of responsibility being on the air, regardless of what transpires during any given episode, interacting, just me yabbering, or me yabbering and interacting with others yabbering, so it's a very, very important thing to keep in mind, and this is something that I am constantly vigilant of. Don't always get it every time, but I'm still vigilant to the point where I'm not trying to empower things that I don't want to empower. This was one of the sticking points with myself and Tony, and actually a great deal of others that are still headlong in this illusion. And many of you are starting to see just what kind of an illusion it is, and it's quite something to behold, isn't it? When you start going, ooh, that's kind of neat, for all the right reasons instead of all the ooh, ahs for the wrong reasons, and staring at something that was created for you. And this is why we need to back ourselves up into ourselves so we can blot out all of the perceived creations that are going on around us. You got to remember these beings or the entities, whatever you want to call it, that aspect of ourself that has kind of gone wayward. It's kind of like a clout, you know. Media, courts, governments, banks, you know, that's what we're up against. But it's not that formidable a foe when you understand how absolutely powerless they are, because they're blind. The ones that are living in that illusion are the most blind of all, which I find quite humorous. All this perceived power. Oh, I'm uber physical power being. Yeah, well, good for you. Watch me push you around in the ether. You know, and I mean that lightly. I'm not saying it's. You know what I'm saying, right? So it's like the discussion we had towards the end of the show last night. All very valuable insight and input. The only thing that kind of gets to me is when things start going circular, when you absolutely know that people aren't hearing what you're saying, specifically interacting with individuals, where I know myself and many others, because I get the feedback, know exactly what I'm trying to say and how very easy it can be skewed based on a very limited perception within the physical reality, still not understanding the more esoteric nature of this realm. Because when you're dealing with the physical only, you're leaving out the most important part of you, the 99% of you, the spiritual. And that's one of the reasons why if you get caught up in the illusions and the dramas here, whatever they are, it doesn't matter, you know what they are. In your experience, I don't know. I do my utmost to avoid those at all costs. But it's difficult to. It's like trying to pry a kid away from the most amazing, cartoon movie ever created, and come on, it's time to go to bed. No, I want to watch, right? And of course you're pulling, and they put up all sorts of resistance until hopefully finally they hear what you're saying. So. And this has really been the walk I've been on for a long time here. Just saying something with a very specific intent, and then watching the program go and totally taking it the wrong way. You've probably come across the line where if what I say upsets you versus what I mean to say, understand what I was trying to say from the viewpoint of I love you. Okay? And that certainly dispels a lot of issues between beings, at whatever level they're playing at, and whoever it is they're interacting with. But here's the point of it all. That which you put your attention on, your energy is going to it. And for those that still don't grasp the notion of how powerful, how utterly, incredibly super powerful you are, you best pay heed here. Because it's only going to take a handful of us to change this whole thing, once you get this. So you can be part of the solution, or you can continue with empowering the blemish, the problem. And it really is about changing your camera angle and your intent of why you're looking at that particular picture. You see, when you're observing something that is presented to you, everything in the physical realm, as I've been discussing, is in the past. You're living in the past if you're trying to solve things physically. I can prove it. I've proved it. It's easy. Does it like time to travel from source to its destination, regardless of how close it is? Of course it does. It's not instantaneous. It has you can speed light up and slow light down, but for the most part, light travels at 186,400 miles per second. Just so happens to be the same number of people in the tribe of Judah, the children of the light, that camped on the east, coincidentally. So everything that you're looking at is in the past. it is, it's done. So tell me what you can change about it. After the scene in the movie goes by that you're watching on the screen, after it goes by, what can you do about it? Nothing. But I'll tell you what you can do is you can start redirecting that movie in the present by taking your attention away from all the things that they've got people rubbernecking, you know. If you speaking of, there you go, woohoo! If you're observing something to observe it neutrally, you're not empowering it because you've made the conscious, aware decision. They're just observing. You're neutral. So what you've done is you've taken your car out of gear and you're just kind of sitting there. You're observing it. You're not empowering it. You're not revving the engine. You're not going ooh ah and why don't you get a closer look and race to it? No. So you've nullified any power going to it by simply observing it with that intent in mind. That you look at it, I'm not intending to empower this, I am looking to see what I need to see to change the present moment. And what you'll find is you're going to start creating things that you'll see for yourself. Because when you get into this state of mind, and you can only get there meditatively, you must be inside self. And that doesn't mean that you have to sit down in a yoga position with your, fingers this way and that. There's no rules to this, guys. That's the thing about yoga, or any discipline. It says, well, if you do it this way, and this way, stand on your head, spit knuckles, spin 3 times, and punch a cat, this effect will occur. No, it's not how it works. You just got to be inside your own now moment, your own star-centered universe, you. All right? So I'm going to take all the mysticism out of it, okay? You'll find your way to do your thing. There are no rules. That's the thing about creation. There are none. There's the golden rule, yes, when you get into the grand scheme of things. But as far as physical, no. I don't see any. It's because we can spend a lifetime searching for the right way to do something because this guru or that guru or this teacher or that, whatever told you have to do it this way. That's one of the things I love about Bill Donahue. He's on the same page as that. He says, you'll find what you need to do to get that moment, the click, right? And you'll find sometimes when you're not even looking, it'll hit you out of the blue, right? Imagine that. How cool is that? So what I'm trying to do is alleviate the pressure from you. So I just got your note there, Ninch. Thank you. I'm just checking on Skype for a sec. Yeah. Thank you, Susie. Much obliged, love. Anyway, I will get back to this thing that we need to stop doing. Gathering thoughts here. Excuse me, they're coming in fast and furious. Got to sort through this stuff. In as much as we try to do something we feel is right within the physical, of course, absolutely, yes, I get it. I do it every day. I also do it from the perspective of the spiritual being the power point of it, not what I'm doing in the physical, but what I'm thinking in the ether and manifesting it through this conduit called the body. Right? We are literally between worlds here. Your blood is proof of that. Your blood is both physical and ether at the same time. Covered that in the essays, Raiding Cats and Dogs. Great big thanks to Robert Otte and Matt Presti and of course Walt Russell and Russellian Science and what have you, for that beautiful gem of truth. That's the thing too, is when I find things that shift my perspective or give me another way to look at it to confirm something I was already suspecting. I like to make it known to people. Thank you. Who delivered it and who's walking this path with the rest of us, So I'll use an analogy here, not to get specific. Let's say you decided you're going to set up a website to combat chemtrails. I don't care what it is, combat anything or, change something or whatever. I'm going to show you the catch-22 and the art of wu-wei here. So like I have my Kate of Gaia.wordpress.com site. What you will see on it is all things neutral. You can pick and choose. I'm trying to deal through the ether perspective and share some things that people may not have noticed yet. And during that was one of the things we came up talking with Colleen today. Oh, the thought just left me too. There I go. I gotta tell her, oh, what was it? It'll come back. See what I mean? I got a tenuous connection tonight. Must be the rain. But anyway, getting back to this website you put together for, quote, chemtrails, unquote, it would make more sense to me, of course, get the information out. And I'm starting to be a whole lot less gentle about this with people, a whole lot less forgiving based on what I'm seeing for myself and what I'm feeling and uncovering and things that are very difficult to put into words most days. So, if you were to put let's say a website like that up, what are you actually doing? Well, yes, you're making others aware of something, right? Great. Glad to hear it. But here's the problem with the ego and the physical. The ego looks at it and stares at it and goes, ooh, oh no. Okay? That's a fact. You can take websites like Prison Planet. You can take a whole lot of fear porn sites. Have a look at them. What are they selling you? Selling you nothing but fear. They're showing you all the problems to stare at. Not one solution offered. And I'll tell you what you're doing when you're staring at this shit. You're empowering it. You're making it possible for it to continue. I'm sure the intent is good for the most part with many. But what are you really doing? And what responsibility are you taking to nullify all of the people that pop to your site? Because all of numbers, this I know for a fact, right? It's all of numbers, What are you actually doing to these people? Well, what you're doing is potentially you're waking them up to things that they may not have noticed. But once awakened to it, depending on how you handle it, you're either going to put these people into stark raving fear, which they will be anyway. As soon as you tell them that the chemtrails are doing this and this and this and this and this and this and vaccines and all the rest of this fear porn shit, what are you doing? Well, you're ramping up the fear. And that's another reason there's the mirror of our light in terms of the fear porn getting ramped up, but it's also being created by us as well. Those that are focused on, it being something evil instead of balanced out with good and evil. You see, for me, someone that would come out and say, well, you get chemtrails, and what this is for, just so you know, it has a potential to harm people. However, do not be, now that you're aware of it, it cannot harm you anymore. And please don't be staring at it because you're just empowering it. It's about changing the intent. Here's the good part of it is this is being done by part of our consciousness to awaken us. So let's flip these all over into the good intention. Now, one of the subjects that came up last night was a website that Adam's put together, and beautiful. And I did try to explain it a few times to take it to a different, higher level, right? Because it's a statistical fact that the more cops a town or a city has, crime goes up. Why is that, Kate? Well, I'll tell you why. One, they got to go look for more criminals so they can, cash out bond stuff, for one, to keep the, keep that scam running. But two, it's the intent, right? And you change the entire community's viewpoint that we used to only have 5 cops, now we have 50. So our town must be riddled with crime, and that's what happens. As people start focusing on that part of it. I mean, the ego is a very, very handy tool once you know how to, leash it in, right? But unfortunately for the masses, we're not quite there yet. And it's not an easy thing to overcome if you're trying to go one-on-one with it. But that's the joy of what I'm doing here and what we're all doing collectively, you guys that tune in and join in and what have you, is we actually nullify any of that frequency to a degree greater than you can imagine. I would hazard to say that the very existence of our table is the one thing on this planet that's keeping them imploding. That's how critical you are. It's not that we're special. We're all equal. We're just more aware of how equal we are. That's all. Right? We don't build pedestals, and we certainly don't show up with chainsaws to build a pedestal under somebody so that we have the opportunity at some point in our own delusional reality of hacking that pedestal down that was non-existent to me. Go ahead, knock yourself out. But here's the thing: when you put together, let's say, a dragnet type of website, what you're actually doing is both good and evil. And this is why, keep it there by all means. But have a look at the intent and what's actually going on here. When you build something, said it in the movie, they will come. So have you not just created the very problem you're trying to solve in the duality of the physical? Ponder that one. Because if it wasn't there, there wouldn't be a motivation for an individual to go trolling. But you've actually opened up something, right? See, for me, it's more about taking out the lead domino, the one that knocks them all down, instead of trying to 1 and 2 off. And that's effectively what we do. And when I started out, it was about talking to people one-on-one and in groups and whatever, and multiplying myself and others that we're working close, multiply ourselves through others. It's a very slow process, though, especially if you're working in the field. That's an impossibly slow process. I had to go around and talk to 7 billion people. That might take you a few minutes, eh? Just a couple? Oh, I guess we're after midnight. Happy birthday, John S. I'll send you a note in Skype. Anyway, there you go. So, and happy birthday, everybody else that woke up this morning. Brand new day. You were birthed into a brand new day. Anyway, the ego will probably take what I just said as a make wrong, but it's not. It's like aware that if you are going to set something up, get busy in the ether with it first. What's your intent? Is it to dragnet people into something so you can get them arrested and get them harmed and play with the system? Again, just empowering the same bullshit. You can talk about the lesser of two evils. Me, I'm just about taking both the evils out and balance to neutral. You see, there's a lot more fun in just sharing names. Because I'll tell you, regardless of what any fraudulent system will do, all they're going to do is cash in on that crime. So you're feeding the beast on both sides of it. When you think you're giving someone over to the authorities, please, what you're actually doing is you've captured one of the the issues that was created by the system that you're feeding it back to. What have you solved? Oh, you've solved a great big fucking circle is what you've solved. Let's go around again and keep doing this. Or how about we just get the word out and make people responsible for themselves and actions? So instead of worrying about handing people over to a system that's just going to feed from it, that's all they do. They don't give a shit about. I mean, hell, most of the people in the system and the governments and everything else are the worst fucking pedophiles on the planet. Why? So what are you solving? What are you really solving there? Yeah, the intent is good. The intent is pure. I'm sure it is, because I know people that I deal with. I know their hearts. So absolutely, sure, I get it. But instead of doing things the same old way that's got us, us going circular, how about we just observe the problem from a different perspective and maybe try to solve it with, new things, because we're in a new paradigm, right? Or you can continue just to keep doing the same old and keep feeding the circular beast. One of the other things, too, that I was talking to Colleen about was... it left me again. What is it, Colleen? Every time I say your name, I forget shit. Oh, yeah, it's going to be one of those nights, is it? Anyway, it was a great convo, Colleen. That's why, because things are that was it. We don't want to ruin people's Christmas, you see. See, here's the other part of it. If you're walking around throwing ice water on people all over the place trying to wake them up, one, you're pissing them off, and two, you're just going to get another villain in your movie. Okay, I promise. Let sleeping dogs lie. They'll wake up when they're ready to. And why ruin their game? Because you found something cool. It's one of the reasons why these early masters didn't travel in large groups, and a lot of them spent much of their lives in solitude, because there's a certain amount of trespassing on free will choices on here, and that's one of the reasons why a long time ago I made my intentions clear. Only those that want to show up and are ready to show up will show up on this show. That's a free will choice, right? That's a choice made by someone that is choosing to move further along. That's not to say we're anything spectacular. We're definitely doing something different here. That I do know. I've said that before. I've given the that we go over on these episodes, and when we have our open discussions and panels and whatever, there is no one that I've ever heard talking about the things that we're talking about, which I think is quite fascinating. And it also reminds me that just maybe, we are doing that one thing different that we haven't done yet, So we stay the course. At least I know I will. While I have breath, I will. Right. Oh, okay. Oh, you're... I think Suze must have went to bed there. Yeah, she just asked about doing the fear porn Alex Jones voice. All right, once. It's going to hurt to do this, but anyway, I'll try it. Excuse me. You are the resistance to fear porn. Okay? Happy now, everybody? Okay, good. Not bad for a chick, eh? Anyway, tell you what. And if anybody wants to jump in here, please. I'd love to, bounce some ideas, so let me know. Just hit one on your pad or open up your Skype and hit one on the keypad there, and I'd be more than happy to have you jump in here. So again, this goes back to be careful what you wish for, and really take a long, hard look at what you are actually manifesting with your intentions, to see how much of it is actually backfiring. where you're taking the one step forward and taking the 98% step back, where I'd rather just take a step forward and then take another step forward and take another step forward 100% of the time without stepping back any longer. That was the point I was trying to get across last night. And I know some people heard what I was saying and they got it, and others were still really deep in trying to solve things in a physical manner. Yeah, and take it from me. I'm a doer, okay? Always been that way. Got to do something. And the hardest thing for me to overcome was that insatiable inner need to feel like I have to do something physical to manifest a change. No. What's happening now is, now that I'm starting to get that aspect of me really roped in, it's attached to it, right? I'm pulling that rope back in. I'm cutting it and pulling it in now, right? It's all good. Still needs a bit of work, but to be still is the most difficult thing we as beings can do. Just got to keep doing something. Got to keep doing something. Got to keep doing something all the time. And if you're not, you feel like you're, well, here, that's system programming is saying, well, if you're not doing anything, you're lazy. And this is what makes you think I'm not doing anything? Are you sitting around inside my head? Are you seeing the stuff I'm manifesting? Oh, you missed that part. Oh, okay. Okay, well, I assure you, just because you can't see it doesn't mean I ain't doing it, right? I hope that makes sense. Yeah, that's the art of Wu Wei, the art of doing without doing. Basically, sit down, shut up, get deep, get dark, and create. Get in your down moment and create. You see, the problem is when we're staring at all this stuff, one, we're remanifesting the things that got us there in the first place. It's a very, very reason why. Well, I'll tell you. It was 12, 13 when I was raped, and that was an encounter with a chief petty officer, Herbert Dusty Miller, who is since deceased. The allegory I got from it was my fight was a much bigger one, obviously, because that was my first encounter of being, raped by the system called Admiralty. It was sea cadets, right? Uniform and all. Okay? So step back from what physical realities you think you're trying to deal with and try to see what the allegory was. What was the purpose of it happening? Everything happens for a reason, be it what you perceive as good or evil. Some people say, well, it's evil to harm another. Well, I think a sadomasochist would probably argue with you. How dare you judge? That's what I'm talking about. Like when you take it upon yourself to be judge, jury, and executioner of someone else's existence, you are trespassing on the highest order, on the highest scale. May I suggest you stop doing that? Something that's taken me a long time to sort through and stop doing every single moment of the day. Yeah, and as you guys know, and many of you are already in that space, the only answers you're going to find are within yourself, and you're taking the time to do it. And this is why, and I say this with, I can't even put enough power behind it. The difference that you guys are making in this universe, never mind the planet, we got to stop thinking planetary, because what happens here happens throughout the universe. We're all connected, you see. Every aspect of creation is connected. Of course it is. It has to be. It came from source, right? That yellow brick road spiraling out. That will, come back to source. That's the breathe in and breathe out. That's the ebb and flow of creation. So right now we're experiencing the in-breath. And we've went out to some pretty far reaches as far as this game is concerned. with what we're dealing with in the physical manifestation here. And we're much more the wiser for it. Yeah. So be careful when you're looking at things that have happened to you in your life. I mean, I've had many things. I guarantee you I've had some things that have happened to me that would have killed a lot of people. And other things that would have given them the urge, intensity, and power enough to take themselves out. Right? But one of the things that I've been able to do, call it the Leo Ascendant, I don't know, whatever it is, but there was always that inner voice that said, get up, dust yourself off, you're 2 inches taller now. And that's what I did. And, you know, when you look back over your life and see the things that, you know, upset you and how long you stayed in those things, you know, think of the first breakups in high school or whatever the case may be, marriage breakup or whatever, that first real relationship loss that you might have wallowed in for weeks or months, right? That now you look at it and go, you get it, you understand why you went through it. There's nothing wrong with what you went through, experienced it, but what you're doing now is you're condensing that same, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks of mourning the loss of this individual. We haven't lost anything, they're still you anyway. No, when something like that would happen, you're going to look at it a whole lot rationally and go, or you're going to be more than likely the one to say, this isn't working, and you're okay with it. It's time for change. It's time for moving on. And one of the things that I do really want to stress, I've said this before, I will keep saying it, there's nothing more divisive than the family unit. The little family hub unit that we call mom, dad, kids. There's nothing more divisive than that. Because it's gotten down to that point where we used to be community-based. It wasn't about, you know, one family or another. It was about all families together, you see. The child was raised by the community, not by mom and dad. They had the community ideals, and everyone worked together collectively to make their community better. That's why you didn't see, you know, things like cops in Aboriginal or Native tribes. They didn't need them. They had unity. They had the concept of working together as a collective. And there's another indicator. The more cops you see, is the more divisive our community is. I don't recall in anything that I've ever looked at regarding the ancient cultures of. I don't think there was the art of, you know, bat weaving or, you know, fishing or hunting, everything. But I never saw fence building, wall building 101. No, they never built walls, you see. And the only time they did was, when they built walls, was to build something big enough for everyone to fit into in one building. It wasn't apartments separated, you know. Take a longhouse, for example. They were called a longhouse for a reason, because everyone lived in there. There was no shame. There was no guilt. There was just community. They didn't have hang-ups, right? Oh, and especially when a being like me showed up in the community, they didn't have any hang-ups about it. Actually, they put beings like me on top of totem poles for a reason. Gave us high positions in council because of our perspective. Imagine that. And that's the thing too, a two-spirit didn't matter who they chose. Because my attitude is this: the spirit wasn't the chosen one. It was the one that chose them to share their life that was the chosen one. Mirror, right? So I just thought I'd share a little bit of that insight from my perspective. So be careful what you're staring at. If you're going to look at things or set up things, as in terms of dragnets or whatever, just be mindful of what you're creating. Are you creating the solution, or are you creating a more purposeful reason for those types of entities to be created in the first place? And how dare we beat up on each other in a system that has us all duped? Some aren't as strong as others. Some have their egos completely controlled to the point where they don't even know what an ego is. You're just talking to the TV set. That's what system does. That's what this whole game has been. This is why we're breaking out of it. We're at that, okay, I've had enough of this shit point. And that's why you're seeing these mass, and I'm talking mass. You won't see it in the in the mainstream media, but certainly you'll see it in the alternative. Tens, if not hundreds of millions of people around the planet taken to the streets. The truth is pouring out. People are flooding into the streets. They've had enough. And I'll tell you why it's important to know that, because you, more awakened to your power, has a greater responsibility, because where you stand, you are standing in the role of a conductor or an orchestra. And I'm not talking physically here, I'm talking ethereally. When you get into the true cause of inside, these tens or hundreds of millions of people that are going into the streets, the vast majority of them are just mad because the system that they worship has screwed them, right? So they're throwing a tantrum, as it were. Okay? Now, you can be the good, caring, unconditional, loving being, and you can take on a parental role if you want to put it that way, but I don't like putting it that way. But you can look at these entities and you can actually move the intent. Because they're not, here's the thing, if they're at the mercy of someone else controlling their reptilian brainstem, they're also at the mercy of your ability to do the same. But you haven't really remembered that for a while. And I don't want you to second guess yourself on this. Kick Mrs. Doubtfire in the ass and kick her out of your universe, because that's exactly what you have the power to do. I mean, I spoke of it before regarding we need about 35 people to wake up this planet, to shift the whole game. One awakened takes care of 200,000 sleepies. I'm calling Cairo. That's my focus. And keep that puppy rolling. And it'll be peaceful. We've had enough of the wars and what have you, so keep it that way. But understand the power and responsibility you have, and that's why I tell people, if you can't handle the truth, you get your ass out of the show now. Because I will hand you things that you will have to take accountability for. Some people, I've used this analogy before in the past. I actually haven't used it for a long time. But, I know a lot of people that are trying to take a system down. They're fighting against it because it's corrupt, this and that and the other. Like take the Occupy movements and stuff like that, fighting against the banks and whatever. But you go around and ask any of them, and you might not be surprised, or you might be surprised at how many actually have a bank account. Well, how am I supposed to cash my checks? Well, why processing the banks? Why don't you try to find what the real problem is, which we know what it is? How about you pay attention to that instead of being a hypocrite? Down with the banks, cash this. Screw the banks. I need to put some money in my account to cover my mortgage. Damn you banks, right? So I look at people like that, and I get this visual of a tree, about 40 or 50 feet up. The first limb is out, right? And I see someone standing on that limb with a saw, right? And they're facing the tree, so they're looking at the tree. and they're placing the saw between their feet and the tree trunk to cut the very limb they're standing on. Well, so they say. And then all I can hear them saying is, "No, I'm going to do it. Any time now. I'm going to cut this branch." And no, you're not. You're a fucking coward. You're not going to do it. You don't trust the universe. You don't trust yourself. You're a coward. And you should try living out on this limb. Well, the tree that's even crushed down around me, to even get any semblance of existence. And I'll tell you, everything that I have to do is done only and completely out of absolute necessity. I can't shave anything further down than what I have. So something's got to give. Something has to give. Universal law says so. Based on the cards I've been pulling, get ready for it. Yeah. I did a, what do you call it? This urge to do a Celtic spread for myself today. Got a lot of burning questions and a lot of, you can call it turmoil, because it is. Because I do spend a lot of time inside, right? Spending the time to look at questions, and still I'm trying. I'm not. Well, I wouldn't say trying. I'm in the process of it. So I'm telling you, people, that the programs they run deep. They run deep. Still trying to come to terms with trusting myself 100%. Well, I'm way better at it now than I was, a week ago, and I was way better a week ago than I was a month before that, and so on and so forth. It has been exponential. But still, Mrs. Doubtfire does have a tendency to step in, and what I'm doing with those as well is looking at it and saying, okay, well, Mrs. Doubtfire, how about I flip you over and doubt that I can do that, to hear my inner voice saying, sure you can. Right? Take all your doubts and mirror them. If there's something you think you can't do to yourself, and I'm talking, be blatant about it. I can't do that. Wait to hear your inner voice, what it has to say to you. The real you. And you won't be surprised, because you'll hear the answer that you already know you're going to get. The only thing that gets between you and the truth is the ego. That's it. There's only that. And the only thing that controls the ego is fear. I could get all, technical about it, but that's effectively it. But anyway, we're at the top of the hour. I'm going to toss on another tune here. And I'm going to get you guys to chip in. Hang out at the table, and maybe we can discuss this concept together. Because I've talked about this with some people, and we're on the same page. So I do like to have sounding boards, because my need is to hear from you, so I can see how things are resonating and what I need to pick up from your camera angle, from where you're shooting the same movie from, right? So I'll toss a tune on here. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
From somewhere like a dream, your world washed over me and took me far away, so very far away. Made sense of all things wrong, gave hope where all was gone. What do I need to say, really need to say? Your eyes are all the words I need. wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me. Somehow you pulled me through, turned faith back into truth completely, so completely. Held strong when others ran, gave my heart a place to stand, and you saved me, more than saved me. Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. And when I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caves in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
And there you go. Hey, no problem, John. I took a second there to throw my array of icons out for Happy Reentry Day. So, yeah, there you go. So, always glad to let people know that I see you. No escape. The bitch has you in her sights. Oh, I just looked at the BTR host time and it was 1:11:11. Yeah, there we go. You see, it's pure love. So, who's going to jump in with me here? Am I just going to be talking to myself all night or what? I should just shut up for a sec to see. Okay, fine. I'm not going to say anything until somebody puts their hand up. Oh, you know I'm a liar, right? Yeah, Kate, no dead air of Gaia. Yeah. Anyway, there's Ninja. I knew Ninja would jump in. Thanks, baby. I feel so alone with no one talking to me.
Hi, Kate. Yeah, I'll talk to you if nobody else wants to.
Yeah, you know, I had a shower and everything. You know?
Oh, you had a shower and everything. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, dear goodness.
All dressed up and know where to go.
Yeah, you're doing all right. You don't need us to talk to you, but we love it, so here we are.
Yeah, you know, it's some nights, you know, it's just, and tonight's one of them. I'm kind of, not sure what I want to talk about, what I want to say. I'm just kind of feeling my way through it. And given we've come off, a couple of weeks worth of, especially in the last few days, and I do go through that. I go through the, right, that, the deflation of all of this energy outbursting, right? So it's like universe breathes in, universe breathes out. So on occasion I have to take a deep breath in again before I just kind of go, there it is again. So tonight's one of those. It's just a nice breath in.
Yeah, well, breathing's good. Seems to keep us all here.
Yeah, it has that tendency, doesn't it? And,
yeah.
and of course tomorrow, that's why I didn't want to get into a whole lot of detail tonight. But I have touched on one of the more, for me, one of the probably the most serious issues of what is it we are creating. And I think it was, I mentioned it to you about what we should do ahead of, any of the promo stuff. If you are...
an important issue, yeah.
Yeah, it's like this. If you are looking at this in any other way than it being an illusion, you're caught in the ego trap. If you're staring at chemtrails, vaccines, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And it's about changing the intent. It's about making it disappear. I haven't seen chemtrails in weeks. They're not in my universe anymore. That's the power you got, by the way. Right? You keep going outside expecting to see them. I come outside expecting to not see them. Because they don't exist in my universe. Oh, hey, we got someone decided to chime in here. I don't know if I've ever seen this number, so let's crack it open. Let's see what it is. Area code 773, your mic's hot.
Hi, Kate. I'm actually calling in from Chicago.
And hello.
I was recently introduced to you through Johnny Guzman, Quantum Leap Television, and saw a few things that you've done on his network and have thoroughly appreciated all the work that so many wonderful people are doing, but have a great affinity for you. So first and foremost, I want to express my gratitude to everything that you are being and doing.
Well, right back at you. Thank you for the purpose.
Kate, I find myself running down an amazing rabbit hole here that I know I probably shouldn't be, and I'm just hoping you may help be able to guide me a little bit. I'm one of those individuals. Okay. With the whole banking thing, and you've just articulated beautifully how we have to be mindful about what's already happened and what's playing out now in the present. I'm currently in circumstances where I'm in the midst of a legal litigation against the bank that did commit fraud, and am at this juncture looking at going into the courtroom, which I know is an arena that I don't want to play in.
Oh, have I got a toy for you? Do you like toys?
I do, indeed.
Well, I'm going to give you the toys and the instructions. Because for me, I was looking for the key to kill it all, right? Everyone can talk about, well, I've got this litigation of this, and I've got this foreclosure here, and I've got this, and they go through all the different scenarios that anyone can possibly be dealing in. For me, I was looking for the one ring to rule them all, right? Because we know the whole system's flawed. I think we can all agree on that, yeah?
Yes.
That for me is pretty straightforward. It's very indicative of the way it's run, So what I had to do, and I'm not sure how much of the stuff that I've been doing that you've listened to, but what I'm going to share with you is a really cool toy, if you can see it. And I say that because as many people have listened for a while know exactly why I say this. What I can share with you does not sit well with the system-programmed physical universe, absolute necessity tool to be here and play here, ego. What happens with the ego, I'll tell you, here's your telltale clues that it's not you, okay? Because you are stunningly beautiful. You are absolute perfection in divine creation, I think we can agree there. No problem. You're perfect. You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So what I do is, now that you know that I know that you know that I know that you're perfect, and so am I, so is everybody, then there can be no possible way for me to be able to offend you or you me, because we're perfect. It can't happen. So, and I speak in general terms, third party as always, but I'm going to be specific with you right now. What's your customary calling, by the way? What do you refer to?
Fran.
Fran? Glad to meet you. I'm going to show you how to take your name back. Okay, but you got to take it back in the ether first. This is the toy I offer. I go really outside the box on this stuff. Everyone's done all the tricks. I've seen the tricks. I've seen the Winston Shrouts, the Rob Menards, Dean Bedford, and on and on. Me too. I've been there. Okay, I played the game, but it wasn't working. So we had to do something radically different, and no one else wanted to. So I thought, well, I'm a bit of a freak of nature, so why don't I do it? What can you expect from me? Well, pretty much anything. So here we go. Now that we know that we're all perfect, and the only thing that can change that perfect aspect is if somebody throws a game changer in there that tries to convince you that you're not perfect. And of course, being in a physical universe, which gives us the concept or the illusion of limitations, stops, obstacles, fear, and all the rest of the emotions that come with it, you see. This is why we have to have an ego. But what's happened is that very tool, in order to allow us to play here, has become taken over, basically. And it's taken over in many ways. And the vast majority of people are not aware of it to this level. So I'm going to share this with you. People can be affected by, pretty much anything. When you understand what the reptilian brainstem is, these are my intuitives, by the way. Reptilian brainstem and the adrenal glands, for example, are, constructs to allow an ego or fear or anything like that to exist. And for me, our original perfect being, prior to a little interference that got run, where 250 genomes got introduced into the DNA chain that are alien to this planet. Humans are the only ones that have these genomes. So I surmise that that's what the genomes were used to build this reptilian brainstem, a control mechanism which separates heaven from hell, your head from your body, okay? And it runs an interference, and it's also a transceiver. It can send out information because it's a thinking brain. There are 3 levels in your brain, right? So it is a thinking aspect of you if you allow it to rule you. And it can be interfered with just like any other radio, right? Meters, harp, all sorts of ley line manipulation, pyramids. Pyramids for me, just bulldoze them, get rid of them. They're eyesores. Plant an orchard where they are. That would work better for me. So here's the tough one, and I went through this just for a very specific reason. The toughest thing that we all have to come to terms with is realizing that our ego is a program, that it is not us, and that we've been duped to a level, believing that it was us for as long as, we can remember. That's why we're breaking free of it finally. So I had to bust that up enough for me to get beyond a certain level where I could start looking at things. You see, if you haven't heard of many of the shows, here's a quick rundown. I spent a lifetime trying to be wrong about me, that there was something desperately wrong with me, that they're freaking nature, I'm this, I'm that. Listen to the Lana Wachowski speech she gave at the Human Rights Award thing, and you'll know exactly what my story is. It's the same one. We all have the same story. So in that process of trying to be wrong about everything about me, when I do research, I go hell-bent for leather, and I spent years looking at different things, and I kept seeing my same story coming up over and over. I would go looking, okay, well, I've got to be wrong. There's something wrong with me, so I got to figure this out, and blah, blah, blah. And I'd keep going, and I'd go looking for something that would anti-justify why I was thinking, feeling, being the way I was. See, that's the real me, right? Not the physical. This is the real me talking. But in that process, the magic of this curse quote that I seemingly have, and I thought of it as a curse for my whole life, still do to a certain extent, right? I'm in prison. I know what freedom is. As soon as I get out of this, I'll be fine. But it also shredded a lot of ego, right? And it wasn't about being self-defeating. Whatever it was, there was a bit of that, but it wasn't to that extent. Me, it was about trying to find the answer to it. That if there isn't something wrong with me, what the hell is going on? So it was a very neutral viewpoint with a slightly less than neutral. It was leaning into there's something wrong with me, okay? But in that process, what also happened was it made me a better investigator, because I wasn't going looking to justify anything to make me right. I was going out, I would feel something, think something, and then I would go out to prove it wrong. I always went to the mirror, opposite. We all know that a courtroom, right? Here's the magic. We all know that a courtroom is absolute fraud. We know that the judge and all the people working for it are in absolute dishonor. It's easy to see. You know, you can watch the videos, right? And for anyone that's ever experienced a courtroom, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. My only question was, how are they getting away with it? Because in universal honor and dishonor, they were still able to get away with this shit, and they weren't getting dealt down the way the universal law works. So they had to have figured something out for the swindle to have occurred. So it wasn't the search to find out how they're in dishonor. That was a given. I mean, that's a fool's game to go and, well, Judge, you're in dishonor. Well, no shit. He's got the robe on. Of course he is. He's part of the bar society. Absolute dishonor. But how were we in a greater dishonor to allow them to continue doing what they do to us? So it had to be something we were doing that was fraudulent, something dishonorable, something making us a criminal before we even set foot in there. And it all came back to one thing. It always came back to one thing. And I tried to prove it wrong. I couldn't. And it came back to your name. And this has been an ongoing early thing. This goes back to, my first lookings in early 2000s with Eldon Warman. I was dealing with the Canada Revenue bullshit agency. You guys call it the IRS in the States. Same thing, same beast, same fraud, same corporate nonsense. So I dealt them a get out of my life thing, and then, they're gone. So, but these were early tricks that we could use with the name. So there was still the deception going on. It was being unveiled literally one layer at a time, like an onion, because every time we would do something, we'd get a victory or two, and then it would stop working. Then we'd okay, so what's the next trick they got up their sleeves? And this is how I was doing this in real time. I was watching it in real time, one of very few that was. And I saw the whole system change after the Judge Bows to Sovereign video. I saw the whole friggin' world change on that one in the legal sense, because I was keenly aware of it to see what kind of repercussions would come out of it. Because it was kind of a very unique experience. There's no other video anywhere in the world that has a judge bowing to someone in the courtroom. Because normally it's the other way around. Everyone bows to them, your worship, right? Not me. Hell, I even had my ball cap on, if you notice. I didn't care.
I did see it earlier today, in fact.
Yeah, that was me in boy mode. Yeah, a bitch even then, So anyway, so it had to be us committing fraud to a greater level. And of course, knowing that the birth certificate was fraud, it took a while to get right down to the nitty-gritty of it. Well, if the system is giving us this birth certificate and we're using the name, well, they're still in fraud. But no, they put a middleman in there, the head of the most divisive part of our community called parents. They had to get the parents to aid and abet their own children into it. That way the system would always be in, they're supposed to be responsible for the children, making the decisions for the children. Oh, okay, well, let's make them give the children's name up, mind, body, and soul, based on the ethereal contract of what a register is. And then we'll let mom and dad aid and abet their own children into committing fraud by using the birth certificate that they gave away. So it's actually mom and dad that were the original sin, the original criminals in this matter. So I had to back it up even further. Okay, well, that's fine. Mom and dad, because of this, their ignorance, and ignorance is not a defense of or from the law, universal or otherwise. So I had to back it up again. I said, okay, well, that's fine. Mom and dad aided and abetted me into using a name, just like I did with my own kids, right, that was given up for registration. That's why they call it a given name, by the way. It was given away as a gift. What is it? Gamete intrafallopian transfer, right? GIFT. Excuse me. When you look at that definition of it, and that's the thing about phonics, that's the whole system is based on phonics. It's not based on the letter of the law. If you're staring at the letter, you're duped. What you have to do is you have to listen to it. I've covered that too. What are you actually saying with any word that sounds like any other word, or any combination of words that sounds like another word, a completely different word altogether? So assumption and presumption of what you're babbling can be made, unless it's made crystal clear. You have to show and tell this. So what happened then was I went back one more step and said, okay, well, there had to be an intent from the Crown Court, church rather, Crown Church State, whatever this corporation is. So there had to be intent to commit fraud via deception, or deceptios, and non-disclosure at the registry office. And the mere fact that the registry office exists is proof of that intent to commit fraud and aid and abet people that come in there in their own ignorance to fraud them and steal their child, basically. So the intent has to be there, and it's about proving the intent. And the final step for me was, well, they built a registry office in order to commit this fraud. The fact that the buildings exist is proof of original intent. So there's a couple of documents. I don't know if you've been to my page or not, but you go to kateofgaia.wordpress.com, and there's a couple of things you should read. And one of them is one that you can actually file on your court case.
And Kate, I did have the opportunity to read through that information today, and would love just to have you, and for my benefit as well as those who are listening, I was looking for specific documents, and maybe I didn't quite see them.
It's I who shall not be named is the document that you file, and the long and short of it essay is the layman's terms of it to let you know what's happened.
So that is the document.
Yeah, oh yeah. All you got to do is put. You can download it. It's free. Knock yourself. But just take out the names that I put in there, the fraud, stolen names that were pertinent spiritual contracts to me. I put in there any name that I had a spiritual contract with. Children, mom, dad, sister, etc. Right? Just to be very clear, to let them know that. All these contracts based on the original sin of theirs is null and void, right? So, and just for shits and giggles, you've got a case file number. Throw a red box around it. And just remember this, and this is critical for people. Until you can get it mentally, spiritually, that it has been the use of this name that was given away and copyrighted, no less. It is the exact same thing as if I started writing checks on your account, and how would you like me? You'd call me a criminal. And that's what we've all been doing since this registration nonsense came into existence. Because these are all based on early documents like slave trading. They're bonds, right? Once you can get the ethereal aspect, once you can look in and go, yeah, okay, I get it. I've been using something that never belonged to me, so I am basically a criminal accept it. It's fine. Yeah, you're doing it in ignorance, though. But there was also an intent to make you a criminal first. It wasn't your intent to be a criminal, was it? Never.
No.
You know, some people have the intent to be criminals. I didn't. I know you didn't. And the people listening here certainly didn't. You know, so what happened? Why are we treated as such? Well, because in our ignorance, we didn't know who we were. In our ignorance, we were, you know, still worshiping, as I call her, the Whore of Babylon system, using the mark of the beast. And for those that need another update, the books like powerful, beautiful truth books like the Bible and even Black's Law, or any history book or whatever, anything that you look at right now is right now. It's not a history book. There's no such thing as history or future, past or future. There's only present now. And everything matters in the now. We just have the illusion of it seeming like time. Time is the illusion, the biggest illusion of all. And the only way we can have things persisting is that in the same instant that something is created, it must be copied and destroyed in the same instant in order for it to travel. That's why everything is now. And everything you're looking at in the physical world is actually past. Everything's in the mirror here. So we're actually going backwards through creation. That's a mind bender. But spend a little time on it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. If what we're looking at and we perceive to be the present is actually past, what direction are we going? Are we moving forwards or backwards here? Nifty trick, huh? I thought it was right up until the point where I caught it and said, hey, that's not very nice. But we did it to ourselves. It's a game, right? But, yeah, definitely, Fran, just read the document a few times until you get it. The only question that has to come up in a court is, it says right in there, it says, it's not my intent to commit fraud or be a third-party interloper in matters. There seems to be a mistaken identity here and ownership of that, right? Because you don't own your house, you don't own your car, you don't own anything. If you used any money for it, the system owns it based on the fraud ab initio until you figure this out. But I'll tell you what you do own, and there's only one thing you do own, and that's your creation and the energy that you have expended in that creation. That's got to be replaced.
And Kate, I understand exactly everything that you just shared and articulated. The quick question is, and I'll jump off so somebody else can chime in and ask their question. This particular case, I am the plaintiff because the fraud has been identified against the bank. So is there still that same benefit for me to, and I understand, again, disassociating myself from the name, the all caps, the straw man, right, all of that. But in this particular case, does it still have the same benefit when you are the plaintiff and with causes of action?
No, that's all illusion. You see, that's why I've given you the key here, right? Because if you don't own the name and you divest yourself of the name because of the fraud, this is where you reclaim it in an ether sense, right? The name was fraudulently stolen by means of deception from the system, and you were aided and abetted into using it, right? So it's impossible. I know, I live this. It is impossible to exist normally in this realm because I cannot use, or have anything to do with that name. I will not commit fraud. Okay, so but what happens here is when you have this little document, you even said to me that I am the plaintiff. No, you're not. The name is. Who owns the name? Who owns the name? You or somebody else?
Okay, I get it.
See the stickler now? That most people can't get past this hurdle, right? Where's my name? You know, that was the thing. Had to be from cradle to grave. Had to be something that people owned from cradle to grave, and it had to be something they defended to the death, and something that had to be so convincing that they would think it was them. And the only thing that fulfills those ideals is a name. You know, right on the tombstone they tell you that you never lived, in all caps, right? So this is a question of who owns the name. This matter that you're seeing with the fraud and whatever. But if you're going in as a plaintiff, there's a great angle there in that the whole thing was fraud. Now, you're going obviously against the bank, yes?
Correct.
Okay. Now, and you launched the case, yes?
Yes, but it was because, Kate, what happened was they fraudulently foreclosed, and I let that go. It was a very defective foreclosure, violations of numerous sorts. In a nutshell, 18 months later, a year and a half, they rescinded it and dropped it back in my lap. But during that 18 months, they transferred the note to another bank that was attempting to collect for the 18 months that I didn't even own it. So it's just an ugly web.
Yeah, you got a hot potato going on. Good girl. What I need you to do is throw a nail into their coffin, will you, please? This is not a matter concerning you. This is a matter concerning the name, and the system created the copyright. Therefore, they own it, and they create all the liability as the owner. What we've been doing is trying to own things, we've been claiming the liability of them. You cannot own anything because the system, and this is the good thing, guys, the system owns everything and is liable for everything. This is the swindle that they don't want revealed. And when you call them on their bluff, which it is, by giving up that thing that is so precious to you, name, really, seriously, did you think of it? No, your parents did, and they gave it away too. Nice, eh? Really sit and think on this for a bit, Fran, and understand that you are not the name, that it is a separate thing from you, and you don't own it. You never did. Actually, maybe if you... go ahead.
I'm totally with you on everything you're saying. I guess again where I'm really stuck right now is I'm already in the throes of this, and now just coming into more awareness and things that you speak to. Now that the charges have been filed and we are where we are, and how I extricate myself from the name as the plaintiff.
I handed it to you.
Yep, you did. And now and then the last thing is, okay, who do I get? Where do I file the documents, or who do I present?
Well, you've got obviously a case file number, a court case, yeah.
Yes.
Then put that number on that document, and you make sure that if you're going to put your seal on it, and that's an important word to use, my seal. Don't make it legible. Make it something new, because that's your signature.
No.
Your signet ring, because we are all royalty. We are just not taking our own crowns back. We are under the crown of another. That's the allegory. You need to put your own crown back on. Right? So just when is this thing supposed to come through?
At this point, we're waiting to hear back from the lender, and they're supposed to be setting up conference calls and trying to either settle.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I just all I need to know is a time in the next day or so, and I can have a little one-on-one with you and walk you through a couple of things.
Oh yeah, I have. I would love to do that, Kate. And again, I don't want to take up time on you.
Oh no, you're fine. That's why I'm here, hon. I'm here 7 nights a week. This is why. You have no idea this little intercourse that we've had between each other here, how much help it has been for others.
Right.
Because so many have the same question, and it's always going to be the same answer with me. You bring any scenario of the system to me, and I'll give you the same answer every time. You don't own the name until you can, fess up to that you own nothing. You have no property rights. You have no legal rights. You have nothing. That's all in their game. They've just made you think that you do. And they've got us spinning, eating our own tail like the serpent in the Milky Way, you see. And pay attention to the universe. It'll show you the answer. So I'm just waiting for that Milky Way to open up and, puke up its own tail. Watch. Yeah, I think big. I think universally. But definitely, here, you got a pen handy? Or are you on Skype, by the way? I
just actually signed up 30 minutes ago, but I do have a pen and paper handy.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll give you both my cell number and my Skype, and this is for everyone. I keep secrets, so don't tell anybody, okay? Here's my cell. It's completely downloadable. Anybody can get it. Who cares? My cell is area code 226-971-9675. Okay, so that's a cell. I have very limited minutes on that. I use that as in case we need to get in touch with each other. If you're having Skype issues or whatever, at least that way I can call, or you can call or text. Text is easiest, right? But because it's unlimited and it's included, so there's two options there. Now my Skype is this. It's katie.renee.thompson. It's KATIE.RENEE.THOMPSON. My Skype handle is Cygnus Trumps It. That's CYGNUS, Cygnus, as in the constellation, the swan. Trumps, as in Donald. It, as in cousin. Okay? So you got no excuse of being able to get a hold of me. Anybody.
Yeah.
All right?
Kate, thank you so much, and thank you for all your being and doing and sharing your insight and wisdom.
No worries. Oh, I was just going to open up area code 818, and they just hung up. No problem. I've got another caller here, too. But I'll leave your line open, and, this is why it's open for them. When I open the mic, it stays open. And the only time I ever close is when things get a little stupid. But other than that, it's that's just a simmer things down. Sometimes it happens. It's all good. So there you go. So I'm available to you, and there's a couple of things that I can go over with you to really drive a very sharp stake through the heart of the system. Oh, there they go. Oh, no worries, hon. No worries. So your mic's open. I've got area code 604 and area code 818. Both your lines are open, 604 and 818. So who wants to jump in first?
Oh, hi, Katie. It's Patty. I think I should because my phone has got this bad battery, right? But I wanted just to jump in if I could.
There you go. Well, go ahead, Patty. And why do I never seem to know? Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm actually going to grab my cell phone so I can put that number in. So go ahead. What's on your mind, sweetness?
Just talking about identification and Fran's topic. And, I think I told you a few days ago that I cut out my ID.
Yep.
And it was really a matter of survival. And I think that when we have this information, the universe kind of just sits and looks and goes, okay, so what are they going to do with this? Are they going to kind of,
How serious are you with what you know?
Yeah, and there's a time limit, okay? And they'll keep, the universe will keep watching. And then if you're just sort of, farting about,
humptying and dumptying, yes.
The pressure will be applied, and the pressure will be applied like a vice. You either shit or get off the pot. And this is what it's been like for me during my whole walk. And if there's anybody that has the knowledge on this, I do. This is how my whole walk has been. And so all I'm saying in this whole thing is that, when I was in the position where I was just being really attacked because of the information that I put out on your show, Kate, about the Law Society, right? It was a situation where it was probably life and death, and I just said, okay, what the fuck do I have to do? And this, message came, cut up your ID. Become invisible, and that is the only way to your freedom, which I did. Now, for people that want to do this, maybe they're thinking about it, and the same thing happened to me. I'm going, well, how do I explain to my family, my friends, that I have no ID? And so what I did, and I'm just telling this for people because this might get you guys over the hump, because I was there too, it stopped me. What I did is I lied. There's a saying, it goes, lie if you must. And this was a must. And I did. And so I told people that my ID was still in my wallet and everything, because when you get to the point where you are right now, you've been through so much adversity, which is good and bad, but I'm so worn out that for me to tell people who aren't ready to hear the truth, for one thing, and secondly, I don't want to have to explain anything to anybody anymore. I'm so tired, and I'm sure a lot of you are as well. Lie. I mean, it works. It gets you over this hurdle. So, sorry, Maureen, I know I'm staying with my friend Maureen, and I told her that. But anyway, so I think once we get to that point where we're strong enough and people want to know, then you can tell them. But this is what got me over my hurdle. And I just want to read something to you, because I journal when I get these downloads, right? And my God, I've been downloading like crazy. And July 7th, I just started writing this. When I read it now, I kind of go, did I really think that? Like, oh, my God. Huh, okay. So I'm going to read it. Kate, you're probably going to get it more than I actually do, even reading it, because I wrote it. But
keep going, kiddo. I'm glad you said this. Before you read it, I want to share one thing that you're saying here. The longer people wait to step into the truth, the more intense it's going to be to make them step in the truth, to act in the truth they know. Guaranteed. I know this, okay? And to the level that you stand in the truth will be the level of what occurred around you. In my case, my whole universe was shredded in one night. All right. Now, one of the things that I'm going to bring to the table as well is the longer people wait, the longer people like Patty and myself and others suffer while this system is held intact. And that's not a guilt trip. That's just a reality. We're tired, but we're just putting it out there.
Kate, you know what? I had a whole kind of spiel written out that I was going to just say to people, because you just hit on it. And the message that was really, really powerful that I was getting was just saying to people, you know what? I had the balls to do this. This is really a hard thing to do, and I'm not trying to minimize this at all. This is
I know.
who we identify with. So I understand it. I'm fresh. I just did this a week ago. And I'm just going to say to everybody who's out there, you are hearing the truth, okay? You have the truth. I'm not even going to say anymore. It's up to you to do. You have to, for our sake, and for your sake, and for the sake of people under you and around you and everybody, your family. This is not about you. This is about everybody.
Yeah.
And the sooner that you guys grab a pair of balls, get the scissors, and cut everything up, the sooner you're going to get free. And you know what? As soon as I did that, the universe showed me that there are going to be incredible miracles that are going to be happening. And the longer you guys wait and sit on your asses because you don't know what the hell you're going to do with your, $2,000 check a month, well, I'm sorry. That's bullshit. And I'm telling you right now, everybody, I'm getting real pissed off. I'm so fucking tired of fighting this war. So get off your ass and cut your fucking cards. I mean it. I want to get off this fucking boat now. And I know Kate, and maybe Kate, she's got her radio show. I haven't got one, so I can tell you what I want. And I am. Cut your fucking cards. And you know what? You're going to experience freedom that is going to blow your mind. The universe is sitting there watching you, and you know what? The longer you wait, that vice grip is just tightening up every minute, every second that you sit and on your ass and do nothing. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't do it for yourself, do it for others.
Well, yeah, here's the bottom line. This is why my kids and your kids and everyone else's kids are more important than anything in this universe. You, everybody, for me, because I wasn't going to leave this bullshit for someone else to take care of. I saw the mess on the floor and I grabbed a broom. That's all. And again, this is not about look at weed. Listen, you guys are here because you knew something was wrong. That's how you found your way here. You knew something was wrong. So why are you here? What level of responsibility are you willing to take? I mean, I've been without ID for 2.5 years now. I've been without any form of income for over 3.5 years. Every penny of my savings, what wasn't stolen, has been used. Okay? So I am, just like Patty now, actually, too. It's the threads, right? But this is the thing. When I see the resonance shining through Patty, and by the way, that was a great Kate bitch rant. I loved it.
God.
It was beautiful. What can I say, right? At the end of the day, to a point, and I've been where you are, Patty, and I'm at a point now where you're right, though, the truth, oh my God. You want these downloads, you want to see the universe, and you got to do something, you got to earn it. It's not a free ride.
You know what, Kate, if just 20 of you, okay, just go in your heart tonight and just say, okay, universe, make me one of the 20. And put your hand up. Make a commitment and follow through and do it. And you know what? Just cut. Just go, okay, you've got your lie made up. You've got a little pillow to fall on. This is not so bad. I did it, for God's sake. Just do it. Be one of the ones that's going to stand out. And you know what's going to happen? As soon as you do, let's say we do 20. I don't even know how many. If they do it tonight, I'm going to tell you without any reservation whatsoever, unequivocally,
realm shift.
Tomorrow you are going to wake up and you're going to go, holy shit, what's this?
Realm
because
shift.
That is when miracles will happen. This has to happen for this shift. This shift is waiting for you guys to get your ass out of the seats and get your cards ripped up. The universe is sitting here waiting for you.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And the longer you wait, the longer we wait, the longer everybody waits, the longer this whole fucking universe and this planet is in shit. It's your responsibility. So get on and get going. I'm real pissed off. I guess you could tell.
Yeah. And here's the other gift too, guys. And then we'll bring the other caller in here as well. Here's the trick, guys. All you need to do, if you need a crutch, and this works as both a crutch and a baseball bat. You can use it for either. You can lean on it or lean on someone else with it. That's the joy of the birth certificate. It is the trap and the freedom in one. Just carry a copy of your long-form birth certificate. That's all you need, because you cannot use it for identification. You cannot. You cannot use it for identification. The only thing you can do with a birth certificate is go get identification with it. Cops can't accept it. Courts can't accept it. Judge bowed to me when I threw it across the bar. Actually, it was carried across for me. That was an apostille birth certificate from the UK. Cost me almost $200 to get that, by the way. I don't know about you, but I didn't have the money to throw around then. But you know what? This is yours. Keep it.
Let me read you the letter I sent. Okay, here. This is how easy it is.
Patty, we got 10 minutes before we roll into the rollover, so let me do the shout-outs now. That way I'm not stressing, waiting for, okay. I don't want to cut people short when they get going. I love hearing downloads. Thank you so much, criticalmassradio.co.uk. Yeah, wasn't it good, eh? It's going to get better, watch. criticalmassradio.co.uk. Thank you, Paul Giovanni, Lisa, the crew at Critical Mass, for giving us this table that we can just pig out on truth every single night. And everyone's bringing new stuff to the table. It's fucking awesome. So thank you. And if you guys can help chip in at Critical Mass, that would be so appreciated. It keeps both platforms going. It's completely non-profit. It's out of pocket for everyone. This is why this is the gift, because I use this site, this radio platform, at no charge. Paul carries this, so if you can help Critical Mass, please. There you go.
Good one. Okay, this is so I've cut my ID up, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, I've got no money, I've got no money, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I've got to get my long and short birth certificate, right? Because this is, as Kate was saying, what we carry with us. So I go online, and they want $120 for the long, and $100 something for the short, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? You pricks, you stole it from me. You're going to give it back. You're not going to charge me. So, of course, they have the box where you can have the rush. Well, the rush is the most expensive, right? And I'm going, yeah, that's me. Okay, yeah, book him down. So I fill out the whole form. Now, I'm just telling you what I did, okay? And this is so awesome because I don't have the money to do this, and I don't think I should have to pay. So I wrote them a letter. I sent in this letter, cover letter, with the forms that Kate suggests we do and the information because I want my birth certificate. So I said, to whom it may concern, I am requesting both the long and short birth certificate for myself. I am not submitting the amounts that you are charging for this service on account of the fact that the Vital Statistics Registry fraudulently obtained my name in capital letters when I was born and put this name, Patricia Diane Byers, on a piece of paper called a birth certificate and turned that name from a human to a corporation by using all capital letters. And then I said, read the enclosed for further verification. And I said, so, because you fraudulently gifted yourself with my name when I was born and have made copious amounts of money off my flesh, consider this your opportunity to gift it back to me, and I will consider not pressing charges against any and all of you who have knowingly or unknowingly been involved in any way whatsoever with this cover-up operation. Yes, even you, the secretary. Remember that saying, ignorance is no defense. Thank you.
Well, yeah.
So now I'm not paying for it. And I wanted the cover letter on here because whoever's going to open my letter is maybe a secretary. Now, secretaries are humble because they're made to be humble by this stupid society we live in. They're probably one of the most important people that corporations have, but in any event, they're going to be the one to read it.
Well, yeah, you've got
consider it.
You've got say, Cree, Ta, Re. Say, himself, herself, itself, creation. I can go through it all, but that's why the lowlies, if you look at it from the perspective of how society has been built, all the lowlies are the absolute power in the game. So focus your attention there as well.
Look at the Native Indians.
You got it.
Okay. Look at the Africans.
Exactly. And who else we got to call here before we do the rollover? I should mention now we got about 5 minutes until we go into the recording part. Call in area code 661-467-2401. And, of course, you can Skype in, refresh the page you're listening on, and click the Skype icon, and you can get aboard. And welcome to Rainbow Michelle to the Love Stuff Room. Yeah, see, that's what happens when I hand out Skype info. People actually tag me, and they get added to the room. There's plenty of room, guys. There's hundreds in there, and we're all talking about the same stuff. And it's direct access to everyone that you hear on a regular basis, myself included. So please, come to the table. Lots of food, and it's all free, and it is
good.
Good. If you can handle the truth, you'll either, be a real pig out on it, or it might choke you. So just be careful. If you can't handle the truth too much, just take spoonfuls, right? So who else we got on the call here? 818, I believe, was the area code. Let me check.
818 is Randy.
Randy, I thought that was your voice. I wasn't going to say that, but yeah. Hey, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, Katie. How are you there, Lassie?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. The thread's a bit greasy, but I'm here.
Yeah. It was a wonderful rant. Thank you. Bless you. I love you. That was great. That was great.
I had a good coach. Hey, Kate?
Yeah, well.
Now it's my turn. Okay.
You followed your path, you followed that path, and you said, this is wrong. I know it's wrong. And you listened. And that's awesome. That's the meaning of awesome, I think.
We need 35 people to do that.
Well, we got 20 coming tonight for sure, right?
That's what I wanted to add, okay? Here's the thing. Did you take your license plate off of your conveyance also?
Oh, Patty? Yeah,
Patty,
do you have a car?
Did you
I don't have a vehicle. Oh, God, no.
Okay. That's where...
And here's something else.
Go right ahead.
I was just going to jump in here because the car that I'm driving was procured a certain way, and it does have plates on it. But as Patty said, I don't go looking for fights. All I carry is my BC. That's it. As far as that car is concerned, the only thing I put in it is gas. That's it. Work it out from there, boys and girls. there is well, of course, an engine recently, but other than that, nothing else, and I mean that on all paper levels. Okay, so I just travel around, and eventually, what the case may be, who cares? I don't have it in my universe, so I just travel. I don't give a shit. And here's the thing, because I have a baseball bat in my purse called birth certificate, and I know how to wield it. Right, I'm the last motherfucker they want to come across. I promise. Because judges don't like me. They get really scared around me. I know, I see it in their faces. I've seen it. 5, 6 judges. They don't like me because I represent too much information to them, too much accountability. And, of course, you put a couple of jarheads in front of me, I'll destroy the program in about 3 minutes. All I got to tell them is, you're just a bunch of thieves. That's all you do. You walk around stealing from people, and you get little scraps of paper called treats because you're good dogs. You go around chasing cars and shit. That's what you want to do the rest of your life? Chase cars? Seriously? Seriously? You got nothing bigger planned, or is that suiting your 80 to 90 IQ? Come on, guys.
Right.
Kate, could I just read this July 7th download that I got? Because I think my phone is going to, die.
Yeah, go.
I just don't want to lose it.
I'm sending battery energy to your phone.
Me too. And if you do drop off, Patty, I will pull you in via Skype. So don't be worrying about it. It was just I was in a kind of a zone yesterday when all the clicks were going on. So, let's roll this. If you do drop out on the phone, I'll pull you back in through Skype, okay?
Okay, thanks. Okay. So this was the download, and it was about our ID and sort of losing it and what happened. So I just wrote down that losing your identification is the last door to your finding your freedom. It's the last key. It's the last door. It's a big one, but it's got freedom written on it. And it's like the key that unlocks the door to your prison cell. It doesn't open it because we are now going in reverse. All it does is unlock it. And that is so profound because you're actually leaving. Anyway, I'm not going to explain it. This is how you entered the prison years ago. It was through allowing this identification to be taken. We gave it up unknowingly. And we have all backtracked now. So now we're at the point where we are right now. We've all backtracked up to this point. This point right now is like the quickening. This is the quickening, and this is why everything is. Look at what's going on, all the energy in the world. Look at these people coming out in masses, and this is the quickening. So once you cut. Once you make that decision and you cut, right, Katie? You cut the umbilical cord. That is cutting your identification.
Well, you're the director.
Push you out.
When you don't like the scene, what do you say? Cut. So stop being a director. Stop being an extra.
There. Yes. So true. And it says, so now we have to reverse our way out. So we unlock the prison gate that we got locked in when we gave our identification away. The only escape is to lose your identification.
Lose the
then
id
you become
entity.
Invisible. And this is for Fran when she called in tonight. This got me stoked. I'm like, you know what? If she went into that, if she lost her identification before she went in that courtroom, the universe would really, I think, just work in her favor. It wouldn't matter what was going on. It wouldn't matter who's who or what's what or anything.
Yeah,
I think it's huge power, and I believe that to be true.
Patty?
Go ahead, Fran.
I just want to let you know, Patty, it's Fran, and you are kicking my cosmic butt right now, and this is an amazing opportunity that I recognize I have standing before me, and it scares the shit out of me, if I may be frank with all of you, but I know everything, Kate, and you said it last night, you said it before, nothing in your life is a mistake. And I feel like everything that has unfolded in my life is leading up to my moment of truth that may very well have a significant impact for others. And that's why I really want to be clear about staring down my own fear and knowing how I need to thread this needle and do it once and do it right. They say, what is it, measure twice, cut once.
And this is the eye
and
of
there's
the
no,
this is the eye of the needle.
There's no may about it. Okay?
Yeah.
Kick Mrs. Doubtfire in the ass. When you make the ethereal choice, universe stands with you. And Patty, you know the breakdown of the word reverse, don't you?
Reverse A?
Yeah.
Do it, please.
For those that haven't heard the breakdown of why we have to reverse out of here, just to back you up on what you said as well, and I love using back you up because this is what we have to do. We have to back things up. What I have done in tracing back to the Crown original fraud is actually I've moved forward, you see. When we go back in what we perceive to be going back in time, we're actually moving forward. We're unfolding this in reverse.
Yeah, I get it.
Reverse. You are the light or the Son of God. Ver, from verily, meaning truth. And say, Latin for himself, herself, itself, the divine trinity of self, you. That's what we have to reverse out of here, children of the light.
Wow.
Back her up, baby. Back her up. Get that beeper going. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Hey, I'm still here. And Fran, terror? You want to know terror? Yeah, been there. And I get it, and it's gut-wrenching. It really is. And I had my puke fest, 2.5, 3 years ago. About 3 years ago now. And it was very intense, right up to the point of, as my story unfolded, with the complete destruction of my universe around me. But that was a universe saying, you're standing in the truth, biatch. We got you. We're going to take all these strings away from you, though, so that you can walk this walk, so that you can talk about it and share what you have seen and experienced with others to help them see how powerful they truly are. That's all I'm doing. And there's nothing guru or teacher about me. I don't guru anything, and I certainly don't teach anything. This was the subject this morning with Colleen. What we do for each other is we remind each other that which we already knew and just simply forgot. Mm-hmm. We are remembering. And we are legion.
Yeah, we are.
Wow. Well, just the last part of this, I'll just finish. It's just a couple of lines.
Keep going.
And as I think Fran was saying about the eye of the camel going through the eye of a needle, like this is what I heard. But I think this is what this is. If you've got your identification in your wallet and hanging out of your purse and everything else, you ain't going to get through there. And what happens, this is crazy. It's just like birthing, right? Because, it's this really, really extreme pressure, just like this going through this eye of the needle. But what happens is when you finally birth and you're released, that is when the gates of heaven open. So you go from extreme, it's just reverse. This is the reversal. You go from extreme pressure, that birthing, oh my God, whoever's had a baby knows, right? And as soon as that birthing is opened up, as soon as that idea is cut up, okay, as soon as you've gone, that is when you get through the eye of the needle. That's when you get birthed. And that is when the heavens are open. You have now entered a huge area, a huge space. That is an allegory to the gates of heaven opening them up. And it says that they will open because they closed. Yeah, they closed when, we didn't become slaves. I mean, we did, but it was more that that we lost we gave our identification away. I mean, we just had, and that's when we had no support. I mean, we were pulled away from our Creator because our identification is in our Creator. So it's, it's sort of the flip side of slavery. We kind of left when we gave away our ID and giving away our ID, and we've become idol worshippers, you see. So here we are following this fallacy. Oops, did I say that? Anyway, that was kind of the end of that.
Fallacy, for those that haven't heard it before, is, if something is a fallacy, it means it's dick worship. Dick love? Oh, let me explain it. Phallus? Why do you think kings and queens have been phalluses with the H removed, called palaces. Yeah, they love living in their little dicks, don't they? C, the note of love, right? The open, unconditional aspect of creation. Phallus, C, dick love. Sorry, knock over all of the obelisks, please. We did a good, good movie to watch, by the way. What was it called? I just watched it too. It's so funny. It's where they take over the White House. Yeah, when the plane crash, the wing crashes into the Washington Monument, you see Osiris's dick getting his dick cut in half. It was beautiful, and of course it had to be the right. Yeah, Olympus, right? Olympus has fallen, and of course it had to be the right wing, right? That's the divine feminine allegory, mystic. Got to think mystic with this stuff, right? And before the plane went into the ground, crashing, it did what? It flipped upside down, and its left wing hit first, which is the divine masculine, right? So, neat, eh?
Yes. Kate, just before I finish here, if I just can say one more thing. The date today is July 8th, 2013, right? Well, when I was getting this download on July 7th, I kind of, for some reason, looked at July 8th, and I looked at the date, and I thought, why do they, when the year changes, like next year is going to be 2014, right? If the year is the thing that changes, why do they put it last? It should always be first, because it's the thing that changes. You see, they put everything backwards just to mess us up, right? Which I figured out. So we should be reading our date as 2013, 0708. That's what I was given. So I thought, okay, well, let's do this. Let's just see, because for some reason I did it with today. I had a feeling something big was going to happen today. This is why I put the 8th down. Remember, my note here is on July 7th. This was yesterday I wrote this. So it says, so look at 2013. 2013 adds up to 6, okay? July is the 7th month, and today is the 8th. Well, when you do it in the order that you should, it goes 6, 7, 8. Well, this is a 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Now, 8 means infinity. We now have the choice of putting another 8 here, and we can put another 8 and another 8 and another 8. This is an infinity day.
Yep, and I was gonna mention too about. Have you ever paid attention to your phone number there, Fran? First thing I noticed about it was you've got.
818.
No. It's that's Ranny's.
Oh.
Without giving the number away, you have consciousness, yin and yang. 996. Got it? You have a very critical. Let me just make it simple for you. You've got a major role to play. Okay? So it's time for you to play, honey. You got the power of the universe behind you. That's all I can see. You've got the balance of the light, dark, infinite, and you are pure consciousness in motion. How about you act on it? That's why we need to talk.
I would love to. I want to. I will.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, see, here's the thing about these little seeds that I write. That's all they are. They're seeds with pure truth in them. And all you got to do is plant them. And the more times that this truth gets out to more people, the faster this thing comes down. And it's not difficult. Email.
It's going to happen either
Fire
today,
it off to law firms. Fire it off everywhere.
It's going to happen tomorrow, or it's going to happen. So you might as well just suck it up and do it. Why procrastinate and drive yourself crazy? You know it's going to happen. Just do it now and save us all this aggravation. That's how I see it.
Well, every instant that goes by, and this is why I hand out the truth disclaimer. If you can't handle the truth, do not hang out here.
Yeah.
Do not. Because what's going to happen is you're going to epiphanize on something. Guaranteed, you'll find something every single night. It's going to be a sudden realization of, ooh. And if you don't stand in it, the universe is going to, the further you walk away from that armor-plated truth zone, the universe is going to do its damnedest to put you back in there. And sometimes it might be a little nudge, and other times it might be a train hitting you to get you back in there. You choose, and the longer this goes on, the bigger the train.
Yep.
So, it's let's use the I hate doing dishes analogy. All right, how many times have you had all these dirty dishes on the counter and you said, okay, I will get to them. I'm just going to go watch this episode of something or other, right? I'm going to do this first. And then you sit there, and as you're sitting there, that pile of dishes in your mind keeps growing and growing and growing until you finally you wrestle yourself out of the chair, off the couch or whatever, and you hate doing it. But then suddenly you realize that the dishes are all done, and you're thinking, what the fuck was I worried about? Why didn't I just get up and do it? Save myself the bother of worrying about it. And that's what's happening with people with ID and actually making the move. Because, yeah, granted, these are very different dishes that are being washed right now, but these are the purest white, pure as the driven snow dishes. They're yours. Time to do some laundry, boys and girls, and get out the bleach.
Yeah.
I could make it complicated if you want. I could. But that's the problem with me. I can't. I'm tired of complicated. I've been through all the quagmires and the legal wranglings. I can spin a lawyer out in three ways this side of Sunday, no problem. I can spin judges out. I can make them a lot because they don't know their arse from a hole in the ground. These guys are all case study, and there's very few that actually know what's truly going on at the higher levels. The one that bowed to me is one of them. That's why he bowed. That's why they brought him in, because they knew they were dealing with a different cat here. I made sure of it with the stuff I filed. And here's the biggest joke of all. It was all supposedly over a parking ticket that actually didn't exist. You want to talk about illusion? You want to talk about them, they make the shit up as they go along, see if you fall for it? Now, start handing the fraud back. That's all you got to do. Let them know that you know who you are, and, yeah, do the physical to affirm your spiritual intent. Cut your cards up.
So, Kate, did you get insurance on your car to get plates, or how do you do that?
Well, that was got, but it was never solidified after. There's none of that. It was got to get the plates, but that's where it ended. If you follow.
I do not.
Oh, well, no, there isn't any on it. Does that work for you?
Okay, right.
Yeah, so, right. Hey, listen, the ruse, they've been duping us all along. All's fair in love and war. Okay, fine, well, we'll dupe you back a little. How's that?
Yeah, you can't verify that I am the name, so since I pulled over to help you out with your emergency into a public area, you cannot steal my vehicle. Either give me, charge me.
They can't. That's too complicated. They can't. They're not even in my universe, is what I'm telling you. And this is where you get to be when you make these choices. Is like you don't exist anymore. Do you remember the scene in Celestine Prophecies when they all disappeared and the guys with the guns couldn't see them? The only time they could see them was when they started doubting it. That's what I'm talking about. That's the real shit. That's an allegory for what happens in the physical. You literally fall off the radar. So I don't even manifest those things. But to make it easier to baby step people through it, the only thing I'll carry is a birth certificate. But I know what it is. It's pure fraud. They can't use it. So, and they can't do a damn thing until they get joinder. They need consent to be the name. Or otherwise, move along. That's it. What's the first thing a cop asks anybody for? I want to know that you're a criminal. Show me the ID.
Right.
Because the minute you show identification, that's what a license is. It means that you might as well run a body house and a crack house at the same time and pimp out children. It's the same thing. It's licentious. It's immoral. I went through all the definitions that was shared to me. I think it was Sunshine that shared it with me. Right out of the dictionary, and I'm reading this going, oh yeah, there we go, licity, and I read it out of Black's Law, and right below licity is license. And it even says in the license. Do you want me to read this to you guys? Here, let me grab Black's Law. So, Patty, take the floor for a sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I am, because I want to say something. But it's interesting too, because license has the word lice, and police has the word lice. Well, lice are, come on, it's a little strange.
Horrified, Patty.
Because I always, you see the police cars going by, and I know Kate has said that when the lights go off on the police car that's red and blue, male and female energies.
Yeah, it's conflict.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, when you see that, you think, oh my God, it's amazing.
Mhm. Yeah. Again, this is and what happens when you put red and blue together? Finally, when you get them out of conflict, you get violet, purple. You get consciousness. Okay. So what when you see the flashing red and blue behind you is because you're still out of balance. When you get into balance, you'll never see that again. That's the magic of this place. All right. And you see here, we've been taught to doubt ourselves so much that we don't even think that magic exists. But that's what this place is all about. How do you think it got here, for crying out loud? So here it is, nicety from ecclesiastical law. Oh, by the way, if a minister or a priest has a license, what are they? Well, they're criminals, right? The legality of an act, especially of a sacrament, okay? Nicety is distinct from validity in ecclesiastical law. Although an act or some part of it may be illegal, I'm going to read that again. What this is saying is that all acts are illegal because some part of it, all of it or some part of it is illegal. If some part of all acts, it says right here, let me go back again. Although an act or some part of it may be illegal, its performance or effects may be valid. And the only way it can be validated is if you consent to it, that you are actually committing a crime by your actions, i.e. having identification. Happy?
Mm-hmm.
Joy.
Yeah. Oh, I loved Ren and Stimpy too. Happy, joy. Love it.
Didn't you say, Kate, too, that when they say may have or may be, that it means it is, or it...
Well, yeah, may also means must. Right. You look it up in the legal terms. May can also means must be, right? So it's everything's in the mirror, and it's all, again, I go back to the phonics thing, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, there it is, DOT. Department of Transportation. Everything goes through the Department of Transportation, the DOT.
The DOT?
Yeah, the DOT.
DOT.
I knew that would resonate with you, Patty. That's why I said it. I opened the page. It was right there in front of me.
Okay. Kate, I've got to tell you this then. Oh, my God.
Would you stop being surprised at magic? This is what we do here. I just follow my
I'm so blown away. This whole DOT thing. This is going to take a whole show. This is like way too. I've been accumulating because I haven't been able to get on the show. I've been accumulating all of this stuff about the dots, and I've been really working on it. There's lots to share, so I'm going to have to make it a different time. There's not enough time to talk about it.
Yeah, well, here, I'll just continue on for you. And by the way, we'll call in tomorrow night, and we'll make a show out of it. Okay. DOT. Here's the one underneath the DOT abbreviation, right? DOT. DOT or DOT, D-A-W-T. It's a noun, French from Latin, dos. Civil law. There's that magic word, civil. That's why we use the Gregorian calendar, which is civil. Julian isn't. See, they not only messed us up for a year, they messed us up by 13 days. So if you're acting in, that's why when you mentioned about the calendar, we're actually 13 days out. See that? 13th warrior? You've heard me mention that maybe once before? Okay. My sarcasm's getting better. So civil law, which means this: dowry, the property that a woman brings to the marriage to help with marriage expenses. The income is usually controlled by the husband, while the principal remains the wife's separate property. That's why they went after the feminine, okay? What's happened is the divine feminine dowry of creation has been stolen by the phallus worshippers, the patriarchal. Neat, eh? It's all there. I mean, you just got to see the layers. You know, so it's about reclaiming our divine feminine. That's it. They stole our ability of creation, and we did it through ignorance and consent. We're not consenting anymore, and we're certainly not ignorant of it anymore. And regardless of what people think and where people think we are right now, we are closer now than we were 5 minutes ago because of what we're unfolding every single day. And there's not just me. I mean, I'm one of millions doing this now. You know what I'm saying? Neat, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that should make you happy. I mean, this is going exponential crunch here.
Well, I hope so.
I want to go outside and take that plate off my truck.
And go play?
I want to go and take that license plate, their piece of steel that they own.
Yeah, well,
take it off my truck.
Yeah, get rid of the VIN as well.
Did you cut your ID first, though? Because you're not.
No, see, I don't have that. I don't have an ID. I haven't had an ID or a TV or credit cards for probably 3 years now, 3+.
Oh man, attaboy.
Yeah.
So
we got players.
But I do the license plate because, well, now I've been enlightened, so I need to meditate on that, strengthen myself, confidence in that, and then I'll get rid of the thing, and they won't see me anymore.
Bingo. And like I said, notacitizen.com, some great information there. All he carries, I got to get him back on the show again. He was on the one night, just jumped in. All he carries is the birth certificate, proof of the fraud. Right?
Now,
he was the one that confirmed it for me, right? Because I knew this. And this is all I was carrying. And then he comes on just coincidentally and says, yeah, just that's all that gets used is the birth certificate. They won't come anywhere near you because you're not committing fraud with it. That is proof of the fraud. They will not touch it with a 10-foot pole. They can't. It scares the shit out of them because it makes them go into fraud by using it.
Right. Okay. That helps. So I have the birth bond, the copy that's on bond paper from the so-called capital of the franchise.
Yeah, that's fine. That's proof of the fraud right there. It's proof that it was monetized. It's proof that it's not yours. Does it say copyright on it?
Oh, I have to grab it. See, you guys in up north, you have to pay a lot of fiat for that. Mine was 26 fiats. Yours was 200 and some fiats.
Well, that was mine came from the UK, and it was apostille in the city of London. It went through 5 different offices for the apostille. It was pure gold, that little puppy.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah. You know, so and I had to do it again. It wasn't apostille this time, but I've got the long form and the short form here, copies from the UK, and all the information I need was on it. You know, even the double cross right beside my mom's maiden name. It's got, you know, like the Free French cross. You've seen the little icon, like it looks like a little cross, and this one's got a cross with 2 bars on it. It's a double cross. So they double cross the feminine, right?
Well, let me ask you this then.
Sure.
How does one, since they're going to stop every conveyance at the at each fake country line or country's line at the border?
Yeah.
How does one enter the next country and leave the one without that so-called passport?
Well, that's kind of what I'm working on right now. So, again, I play a bigger game. I don't deal with one border. I deal with them all. And I'm always after the one ring that rules them all, the one ring that goes through the bull's nose to go, come here. Okay. Now we understand each other now? Yeah, I thought might. Yeah, go ahead, do it again. I'll give you another tug. You know, and that's all it is, and it's done in complete peace. And please, when I say these things, I'm being facetious. I'm just making fun, making light. It's, you know, it's a no harm, no foul. Again, we're dealing with very, very ignorant people that are only trained to a certain level for a specific reason, to keep them dumb and resistant, right? And if you want to hear some great calls about resistance from these individuals and their willingness and ability to lie, of course, always, especially when you get someone that's actually got some knowledge, or their complete imbecility, grab a few of Mark Hollywood's phone calls from his YouTube channel. There's some
Mark
real
Hollywood.
fun ones.
Okay.
Yeah, Hollywood. Yeah, I forget what his. He's in my Skype, but I've talked to Mark many times. He's a great guy, and he has a lot of fun. He makes phone calls, and he keeps them on the line too, which is even funnier. He knows
was he the guy who called the IRS and was trying to figure out?
You're thinking of what's his name? Hang on, he's in my contacts. Let me just see if I've got it here. I know who you're talking about.
Okay, so Mark Hollywood is different than. Okay, got it.
Yes, he's the Canadian version.
I'll look that up.
Yeah. What is it? And he's great. He's Mark Stevens.
Oh, Mark Stevens.
That's who you're thinking of. Yeah, he's hilarious on the calls.
No, this was literally a kid that Brett Jones of Redress Right had come across, because the kid had called him and he told the kid, he said, here's this and that. And the kid literally got a woman on, called the IRS, got a hold of a woman, I forget the video name, and said, well, how do I pay this? How do I not pay? The word's not pay. How do I take care of this? How do I get it to go away? How do I, there's a word for it. And she said, well, we call it remit. He said, yeah, how do I remit all this? And she told him all the goods. And it's on YouTube. I've forgotten where.
Oh, yeah, if you find it, Randy, I'd love to have a look at it, because there's always little gems to be found. Here's a note on the Skype chat from an individual. They write, I had an assistant DA pull out a driver's license application and pound on it, like Clinton on a podium, where it asked one to check the citizen box and demand to know if I signed one of these. My retort was, citizenship is not obligatory. He withdrew his complaint. It's beautiful. I mean, but that's it. I mean, that's a beautiful vampire stake right through the heart. You see, the thing is, most of these people you're going to be dealing with in courts, especially, they're imbeciles. They only know how to work case law. That's why they go to Yale and Harvard and the rest of it. Procedure. It's all about procedure. They don't understand the law. If they want to, defend or fight a case or whatever that might be, a box, right? They only refer to case law. What happened before, and how can I twist it to make it work for me this time? Maybe write a new one around it. And they're writing, tens of thousands of new laws every single year. It's probably in the millions. I mean, last check I had, there's over 65 million laws on the books. Are you kidding me? Okay, we'll tell you what. If you want to claim to be a lawyer, and I'm not dealing in practicing, I want a real one. You got to know every one of those laws.
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah, and that made total sense to me. Why when I crossed from the audience and entered the stage of said courtroom, that's why I knew when he took me away, when he had the public servants take me away. That's why it was clear to me when I was in the holding cell, so he could empty the courtroom of all the other all the citizens in there.
Yeah, the sleepies.
And then he brought me back in shackles by myself with the clerk, the head of the court, and then a reporter or a recorder and him sitting up on high, and I spoke with her. Because in that time that I was in there, I slept and I did a little meditation, and it came to me that they need the name. They need to set an example. If you disagree with us, we'll do this. What we've done to this man here, that's what we'll do to you. You don't want that. And then
it's all fear
but no one stays around. Yeah, it's all just fear porn. No one waits around to see what happened to that guy, because we've been taught not to care for one another.
Yep.
And I'm not saying it's their fault. No, I'm just saying
that's what's
done.
You nailed it. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the program. When you're out trying to beat up a pedophile, that pedophile came from the very same system that we did. And if we're using the system to beat up our fellow beings that are degraded because of this system, what are we doing? We're still beating ourselves up, and it doesn't make sense to me.
That's true.
It's all backwards. These are beings that need to be cared for. because there's something missing, and it's our fault. We got to stop blaming outside of ourselves. And this whole idea of, well, we got to, set up our own court and this and that, that's vengeance, guys. And we're just beating ourselves up. What we need to do is just bring everything into the light. The intent will shift it for us. We don't need physical solutions for spiritual problems. It doesn't work that way. It works in the mirror. You want a physical solution? Well, you got to fix your spiritual ass first. You got to take the cause back, instead of being an effect and thinking that you're being caused by beating somebody up, by doing something in the physical realm to them. As above, so below. So what we're doing is manifesting the same thing as above, creating the war in heaven, as it were. Right? So this is why, and I'm glad you brought it up again, Patty. This is why we have to reverse out of here. Oh, it looks like Patty got dropped off on her phone, so let me grab her and bring her back in here via Skype-a-rooney. Here we go. And we'll do that. Yeah, so you've nailed it, Randy. I mean, what you're doing is you're giving another example of the same thing that we've all been doing, and we've all done it from different camera angles, done the same things, right? The whole thing with that Judge Banning was all about that. That's why I walked free and clear, and they couldn't touch me. I owned all 3 bailiffs. No one was paying attention to that because I had. You should hear. I've got to put it up. Actually, I've got to upload it I'm going to upload it right to Blog Talk, and I'll let you guys hear the conversation I had with the bailiff that was cowering behind the bar at the end of the video. The other 2 they brought in just for me. That courtroom was filled with like over 100 people that morning, and this is where I went one-on-one with that little cowardly bastard sitting behind the protection of the bar in the video. He was the only bailiff all day until these other 2 showed up. And the conversation between me and him prior to court opening, and actually this recording goes into the point where you hear the ding, 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 where court is actually in session, and the judge is already walking up to the to his little porta potty, right?
Yeah.
And yeah. I'm standing at the door inside the courtroom that I already claimed. This is going back, okay? So you got to keep this in mind, guys. These are tactics that worked then because they weren't revealed yet. So I was able to use the ones that weren't revealed because I didn't know any better. But I handed the bailiff his ass at the door. And I will tell you, there was one point of the conversation where he was trying to tell me to take my hat off. That's the first part. It's very muffled and hard to hear, but I know exactly what's being said and when. I can translate it. But what he had done was he had asked me.
Show me the law where I need to take my hat off, and I'll gladly remove it.
Yeah, well, I went a bit more intense on his ass than that. So what happened was he said, "Take your hat off," and I said, "What?" Because he was pointing at his head, right? And he wasn't even. He didn't even say anything. He just pointed at his head, right? And I'm thinking, "What? You got a headache? What's wrong?" And he points again, and I'm still, what? What? He goes, "Take your hat off." And I said, "Oh, is that an order?" And he says, "Well, yes, it is." Well, unfortunately for you, then, under this is old stuff, right? Something to do with bills or whatever act. Or it's been so long, I don't even care to remember. But I said, I'm going to have to bill you for that order, and it costs $400 to fulfill that. Do you have the money? I'd be more than happy to. And he came over. He was trying to be a little bit more discreet and quiet with me. Meanwhile, there's there was 21 other people. We'll call them sovereigns that were with me that day, sitting all around me, right? And they're having a chuckle at this. And so he's being a bit more discreet. He comes up to me, and he's ready to start saying something to me. And because I never got up, I just stayed sitting. And his radio went off, and he looked me square in the eyes, and he said these 3 words. He said, "By your leave," and then he stepped backwards 3 steps before he turned to walk away.
3 steps.
Yes.
The Trinity, you mean?
Yes. See, but this information most people don't know.
Grasshopper makes for very interesting.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
and then goes on a little bit. You hear the ding 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 of the court coming in, starting, and then he motioned me over to the door, so I went over to him, and that is very audible. And there's everyone in the courtroom, including all the Crown attorneys, lawyers, all the people there to get fleeced, and they did. They got fleeced royally, and they left me right to the very end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know why, but anyway. But I'll tell you.
Well, they left you to the end, so no one can hear how to properly, get your thing over on them. Yeah. That
was my sarcasm. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's when you actually hear. I'll get it loaded up tonight, and when you actually hear what I said to him at the doorway, and I had just sworn a peace officer oath at a notary. Again, this is stuff that makes me a court official at that point. Not anymore. It's all bullshit and garbage now. But at that point, it worked, and it was just beautiful. Everything unfolded perfectly because when I got up to go up to the front, never crossed the bar. I just, of course, my guts and knots and what have you. I can hide it well.
Yeah.
I just walked up there and I just said, "Okay, universe, this one's yours. I'm shutting up now." And it just unfolded the way it did because I didn't, I had a sheet of 23 or 24 different, I think it was 23 actually, retorts that I was going to, whatever the judge came at me with, I had an answer, right? But he didn't even get the name, and the fact that I owned the first bailiff in the morning, he understood me. The female bailiff, I owned her across the hall just before we came back in for that video. Where she understood me. You do understand that I am a sovereign, yes? She goes, oh, and you seen the head drop. It was a beautiful moment. So the only one I hadn't owned up to that point was the short little shit guy to my left, and he was sitting in the back, all Mr. Gruff, and, yeah, you're doing a good job, buddy, no problem. But he didn't say a word, so he was silent. And as soon as I turned to him in the video, I said, and this guy, well, he doesn't like to talk too much. Right, that's when the judge jumped because at that point he knew I owned all three of them. Then he could be arrested. I wasn't interested. I just wanted to wanted to clear up a mistake. That's the first thing I said. I'm here to clear up a mistake. That one, and of course incompetence. They don't like that word. And I do have the transcript. I should get that loaded up to Kate of Gaia .wordpress just for anyone that needs some entertainment to see what it was actually said.
Wow. So, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm looking around for my. Yeah. Shit. I'm looking
almost
for
3
my
years
bond.
ago. Oh.
I'm still looking for my birth bond. I know. I'm sure I put it in that spot that I would never forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to order a new one from the franchise, and I guess I just give them I have to give them the postal, the address.
Yeah, just box it.
P.O. box it?
No, box it. Put a box around everything. There's no joinder with it, all right?
Well, okay, so I shouldn't just call them and give them
sure. Well, who cares? I mean,
gift card over the phone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'd give them the damn address. Whatever you want. Fuck it.
That's the thing. It's like and this is why I'm trying to tell you, you can't touch it. Don't be afraid of using their tools against them now, right?
Right.
Hey, the poison.
I think I'll put a 2-cent stamp on it.
3. You got to put a 3 on it.
Oh, a 3, not a 2?
Yeah, 3-cent stamp and no postal code or zip code.
Right, without the U.S., yeah.
Yeah, it'll get there.
Oh, yeah, it will. Damn it. I know I have.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, enough.
That's all right. It's all good. It'll show up when you need it to, so it's all good. That's why I don't stress about anything.
Yeah.
Just
all right,
like that.
Well, yeah. And there she blows there.
Exactly. So, Fran, are we having fun now?
My head is reeling, and I have goosebumps the size of Texas.
Yeah, it's kind of worth hanging out here once in a while, isn't it?
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. As soon as you dispel the whole illusion of what the system is, it is complete fraud. It's a complete illusion. These guys are walking around with their fancy robes and all the rest of it, and they hire these goonies that are powerless without a name, and they know it. So you've ripped the clothes off a very naked emperor.
Well,
Lose the fear.
Even as I've gone back and forth with the attorneys who are handling my circumstances on this end, they even are struggling with some of the stuff that I'm putting out there, and that's where it's getting more and more interesting, and where I really need to come into focus and be crystal clear about how I here.
Yeah, we'll just make sure that you, because I love playing this trick. You obviously have defense attorneys and prosecuting attorneys, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you got access to both parties. You got email. Fire off a copy of it. Yeah,
I do.
Well, then fire off a copy of each of this to each the attorney that's repping you and the attorney that's repping the court. Well, there's no one repping you. It's all about the court. They're repping the court. They're acting their way through. Most of these guys don't know what's going on though. So this is what I'm saying about planting seeds. Fire it into law firms. These guys haven't got a clue what they're doing. Most of them actually think they're doing a good thing. So you can't hate them, right? They're more ignorant than we are. I'll tell you, I'll take a lawyer on. I don't care who and what and where they are any day of the week. And all I got to say, well, listen, without the name, you got nothing, bud. And besides, you swore an oath to the bar. Your first interest is the bar, so you have a conflict of interest. So you can't even open your fucking mouth. So why don't you just shut up now before you get yourself in more spiritual trouble? Any questions? Didn't think so. Now go hand your bar card back and revoke your oath to a fiction entity. By the way, the devil owns your soul at this point. You happy with that? Are you okay with that? Is that working for you? And I mean that in a very literal sense. This is the battle of good and evil. It's the only place we can play it. And I'm sure most of these people that think they're trying to do good would want to know that they're not. If they're not. They all get sold with their egos, though. Got to get the new Beamer, got to get the new house, got to, never mind keep up with the Joneses, beat them, right? And
which is why a lot of those people on The Secret, a lot of those so-called teachers, they're in battle currently. They're in court with the producer. Yeah. So I guess you attract what you want because they were attracting it with their brains, not with their heart.
Well, their heart. Well, they were attracting it because, see, when you have the intent generates from your source, which is you, your Makaba, your heart, your divine essence within. Everything generates from there. The thoughts you have in your head that keep coming in are ego. That's left brain overruling. What you need to do is connect your heart with your right hemisphere. And unfortunately, for the human body, the easy way to bypass it, tongue to the roof of your mouth, your reptilian brainstem gets in the way, and it's a chatterbox. And if it's got all sorts of stuff coming into it, which they have the technologies and what have you to do that, you're at a very disadvantaged place. But once you become aware of it, the illusion is blown. And I mean it to that degree. As soon as you become aware of it, that it cannot affect you anymore, you've already beat it. This is the joke, right? That most people aren't getting. That's how powerful you are, and this is the doubt that has been planted within us for so very, very long. And what we're doing now is we're finally dispelling that. And I'm not going to be quiet about it. I'm going to be actually a little bit noisier than most because that's just what I do. That's my thing, right?
Yeah, grateful for that, mate.
Well, I'll tell you, this is the whole game here is pointless until you wake up. Otherwise, you're just going to keep going circular.
The thing that helps me the most, though, whether it was speaking with Brett Jones, whenever I would speak to him, after that I'd be on a tear. I was like, okay, great, because our spirit's connected. And that's what this is. That's what's great about this. You're connecting with others, and you're getting these reaffirming voices in your head.
Mm-hmm.
People saying, no, you're not nuts. You are nuts in that good way, yes, but you are on the right. You are on that path. That is correct.
Why do you think
Everything
I do this
you're
7
learning,
nights a week?
Yeah, well, bueno for that.
It's a continuous flow of get her done. You can always turn on at one point during the day. You can turn on something that's going to reaffirm everything you already know. That's why I do this 7 nights a week, and it's a grind.
For me, it's such a huge help. You know, when you hear, because we are alone a lot.
That's why I do what I do, my friend, and it's not for any kudos or credits or anything. The reason why I do what I do is because I wish there was me doing this when I was doing it, and there wasn't. So I know what it feels like, and it sucks.
Well, you can imagine how hard it is for you now. Imagine how hard it was for the people who knew this stuff 20 years ago. Those 6 people who knew it, and had to keep it to themselves because God knows they'd have been in lockdown somewhere or locked up somewhere.
See, but 20 years ago, my friend, we were still playing in the illusion. This is the difference. What's making it tough now is we've uncovered so much of it that all of the stuff, any of the UCC or Postmaster General or rest of the friggin' nonsense, Nassara, Opt, Saint Germain, all of that bullshit has got people, everyone looking outside themselves for the answers that are contained within. They got you looking for bread and circuses. It's Rome. You are the most powerful entity in the universe. I know you are. You're me. We're all connected. We're all one. Just like that. So, and that's why, because for me, and especially knowing what I do at this point, for me to do otherwise would be a complete irresponsible act on my part. If I'm going to be unconditional spiritually, well, then I'm going to manifest that physically, and like I said, I will keep doing this as long as I can. And the only thing keeping me in this game are people that help. That's it. Other than that,
remain honorable.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened to those guys? The creditors for commerce or something like that? Where'd they go? What a joke that was. I know a few people in that. Creditors in commerce. Yeah, they're still pulling the stuff. Actually, one of the guys involved with it. Hey, Eric. One of the guys involved with it, I know, it's kind of funny, I knew a few of them, but one in particular ended up getting a check from the IRS in excess of $100,000, and people are going, oh, wow, ooh, ah. And then, of course, not long after he got it, he started getting letters about, you got to pay that back plus interest, right? It scared the living shit out of him, and it kept him reeling for a while until eventually he got like a letter of forgiveness of it or something, because something else had turned up. So, but again, it was just another universal test for him to see would he be relieved with that, or would he be foolish enough to go and try it again. And he did, but put a kibosh on it rather quickly, right? Yeah. Stand up for your beliefs. Yeah.
Well, once bitten, twice shy, maybe. But that's the power of the ego. That's the power of greed, right? And okay, well, all you're telling me is that you can be bought, right? I can't. Sorry. I can't.
I could be bought. They'd be more. I would welcome them sending me all that fiat, and I would go out and I would get all my tools, and I'd get in the truck, and I would go to people's houses, people's homes that look like crap, and I would tell them, okay, what do you need? You got me for a week, or you got me for 2 weeks, or whatever.
I'll tell you what.
Here's this guy. He's going to help out. Don't worry. It's on me. I'm paying their hours. I'm paying their wages. I'm paying your
right. And you're still stuck in the quagmire of the system, Randy, because you know what money is, right?
Well, yeah, it's me with the fraud, but then I'm helping others with that. If they want to do that,
the only way you're going to help others, Randy, is to eliminate money altogether. That's the thing that we need to do, because what money is the literal flesh, blood, and soul of every living human on this planet. It's what it's based in. it is cannibalism. So when someone goes after lots of money, I don't care. It's owned by the Rothschilds. It's all government.
Right.
It's proof of fraud. All you're doing is rejoining the tail into the mouth of the snake. I'm a general contractor, former, and before I would go onto any work site, the first thing I did was what? Oh, right, demolition. Demolition.
Yeah.
Tear it down to the ground. Raise it to the ground. There's a reason why they say raise.
What is it with so many of us who do that kind of work? I run into so many guys who know, their contractors or former or whatever, and they know at least enough of this stuff to get them in trouble, but they know it.
Well, what about the fact that maybe perhaps some cool
Jesus was a carpenter? Yeah.
I'm a master carpenter, so see, the allegory fits, doesn't it?
Yeah,
there does seem to be a pattern, doesn't there?
Mm-hmm.
But Randy, what I wanted to say, because I listened to just now, your sudden enthusiasm for going out and giving your services for free, whilst you paid for the team behind you. You've got that heart. You want to give for free, and really, I suppose most of us do. So the question is, well, why don't we just do it then?
Bingo.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking when Kate said that. When she said that was just that you know what's holding you back, man? Other than you're working. I'm working with my brother, helping him 65 hours a week, but still,
Yeah, but isn't he likely to be the same? If he won $1 million, would he say, you know what, I'm going to go and do this for these people and help these people for free and give them this and give them... If most humans have that mentality, the twist...
Money loses its value, right?
Well, the twist is the sickness around money. We are naturally... willing to help each other, but they've fucked us over with this money and this mind control shit, right? So what we need to do is recognize that your reaction proves that you're mind controlled by money. You want to do it only when you've got the money to do it. Hello, we can do it now. Help each other now without their money.
Yeah,
you're right.
And that's
wow. Thank you. Thank you. You are a gift. I love you. That is excellent.
This is the program, right? This is, you see, you as a divine, absolute creator of everything in the universe. I know because you are me and I'm you. Right. Now there's the difference between you and the program. Cool, huh? And that inner voice, that inner voice you heard talking was you, saying, "Hey, excuse me, wait a minute, who's in control here? The TLB or me, right?"
Yeah.
So. I'm hoping that one gets actually into main speak. Tricky little bastard, the TLB. It's so funny. And still,
well, the girls can call it the tricky little cunt if they like. That's also
absolutely.
a good one.
Oh, and there's that tender loving care, TLC.
Yeah,
that works for me too.
Yeah.
Well, the C works for men and women. Yeah.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah. Again, and of course, as I've outlined before, the two words that would be considered the most vile are actually two of the most precious, beautiful sounds in the universe, and they turn them into curses. So that's the word fuck and the word cunt. Those are actually beautiful sonics. Isn't that neat how they've done that? They flipped everything over. Isn't it great? Yeah. Well, no more hooked on.
That's why I brought it up again, Kate, because it's been quite a while since we touched on that, and I thought that was an opportunity.
Yep. It's
hooked on Phoenicians.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's phony in the Phoenicians, right? And that's where the assumption and presumption comes in. That's why silence is golden. Until you know how to wield the forked tongue, shut up. That's how it works. But we got there's about 2 minutes left here. So I'm going to run a song just because I always like to see what words it ends on, like last night. This is a great game. So what I'll do is I'll say thank you to everybody, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow night. Fran, don't forget, you've got all the contact information. I'll look for you on Skype and or just text or whatever. and looking forward to it. And Randy, always great chatting with you, my friend. For everyone, please, especially in the U.S., the us, go to notacitizen.com, get yourself over there and hang out for a bit, do a little bit of reading. There's a guy who knows his shit, okay? There's a few of us out there. All right, so on that happy note, I will say thank you, everyone, for tuning into Outside the Box. Here on Critical Mass Radio Online, of course, the main page will be on tomorrow from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, 6 to 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time at criticalmassradio.co.uk. So we'll see you a couple of times tomorrow. Glutton for truth. I'm such a pig. All right, guys. So we'll catch you. We'll catch you tomorrow. Much love.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Actually, one sec, guys. Someone put their hand up here. You got about 20 seconds. Area code 561. You popped in last night, and I didn't get you. Area code 561. Nope. Okay, they're gone. All right, here we go. Halfway home. Love you guys. Good night.
Video provided by verdictproductions.com.
Happy to have both Nina and Miranda, when Miranda's available, to sit in and, the three witches of fate just sitting and nattering together. It's rather, for me, it's always really enlightening. It's kind of why I do this. And as much as I have a selfless purpose for it, I have a very selfish reason for it, too. You see, because what I give out, I also get back in kind, right? So it's you can call it the good and evil, or the duality. For me, it is, how is it evil? Okay, well, I'll tell you how it's evil, because there are people that tune in, and what I share can be kind of, if they're not ready for it, kind of dangerous for them, I go back to the little video, Judge Baus to Sovereign, and people that tried to emulate that, and there were many, not knowing fully what they were doing or what I had done. There's a lot of stuff that was done that you only see the mirror of the perfect pitch, i.e. 432. It's 2 minutes and 34 seconds long, by the way. Put that in the mirror and you'll see 432 hertz. Just a coincidence. Look away. And Brian, I did see your list of sevens. Quite interesting. Yeah. Welcome to Oz, indeed. Sevens everywhere. Yeah. So and triple sevens at that, I might add. Now, for those that aren't ready to maybe indulge in some of the things that we expose, emotionally or spiritually or whatever, yet they get the concept of what it is. There's a lot of responsibility there, and I take a great deal of responsibility being on the air. Regardless of what transpires during any given episode, interacting, just me yabbering or me yabbering and interacting with others yabbering, so it's a very, very important thing to keep in mind. And this is something that I am constantly vigilant of. Don't always get it every time, but I'm still vigilant to the point where I'm not trying to empower things that I don't want to empower. This was one of the sticking points with myself and Tony, and actually a great deal of others that are still headlong in this illusion. And many of you are starting to see just what kind of an illusion it is, and it's quite something to behold, isn't it? When you start going, ooh, that's kind of neat, for all the right reasons instead of all the ooh, ahs for the wrong reasons, and staring at something that was created for you. And this is why we need to back ourselves up into ourselves so we can blot out all of the perceived creations that are going on around us. You got to remember these beings or the entities, whatever you want to call it, that aspect of ourself that has kind of gone wayward. It's got a clout, media, courts, governments, banks, that's what we're up against. But it's not that formidable of a foe when you understand how absolutely powerless they are, because they're blind. The ones that are living in that illusion are the most blind of all, which I find quite humorous. All this perceived power. Oh, I'm uber physical power being. Yeah, well, good for you. Watch me push you around in the ether. And I mean that lightly. I'm not saying it's. You know what I'm saying, right? So it's like the discussion we had towards the end of the show last night. All very valuable insight and input. The only thing that kind of gets to me is when things start going circular, when you absolutely know that people aren't hearing what you're saying, specifically interacting with individuals, where I know myself and many others, because I get the feedback, know exactly what I'm trying to say and how very easy it can be skewed based on a very limited perception within the physical reality, still not understanding the more esoteric nature of this realm. Because when you're dealing with the physical only, you're leaving out the most important part of you, the 99% of you, the spiritual. And that's one of the reasons why if you get caught up in the illusions and the dramas here, whatever they are, it doesn't matter, you know what they are. In your experience, I don't know. I do my utmost to avoid those at all costs. But it's difficult to. It's like trying to pry a kid away from the most amazing, cartoon movie ever created, and come on, it's time to go to bed. No, I want to watch, right? And of course you're pulling, and they put up all sorts of resistance until hopefully finally they hear what you're saying. So. And this has really been the walk I've been on for a long time here. Just saying something with a very specific intent, and then watching the program go and totally taking it the wrong way. You've probably come across the line where if what I say upsets you versus what I mean to say, understand what I was trying to say from the viewpoint of I love you. Okay? And that certainly dispels a lot of issues between beings, at whatever level they're playing at, and whoever it is they're interacting with. But here's the point of it all. That which you put your attention on, your energy's going to it. And for those that still don't grasp the notion of how powerful, how utterly, incredibly, super powerful you are, you best pay heed here. Because it's only going to take a handful of us to change this whole thing, once you get this. So you can be part of the solution, or you can continue with empowering the problemish, the problem. And it really is about changing your camera angle and your intent of why you're looking at that particular picture. You see, when you're observing something that is presented to you, everything in the physical realm, as I'm discussing, is in the past. You're living in the past if you're trying to solve things physically. I can prove it. I've proved it. It's easy. Does it take light time to travel from source to its destination, regardless of how close it is? Of course it does. It's not instantaneous. It has you can speed light up and slow light down, but for the most part, light travels at 186,400 miles per second. Just so happens to be the same number of people in the tribe of Judah, the children of the light, that camped on the east, coincidentally. So everything that you're looking at is in the past. It is, it's done. So tell me what you can change about it. After the scene in the movie goes by that you're watching on the screen, after it goes by, what can you do about it? Nothing. But I'll tell you what you can do is you can start redirecting that movie in the present by taking your attention away from all the things that they've got people rubbernecking, you know. If you speaking of, there you go. Woohoo! If you're observing something to observe it neutrally, you're not empowering it because you've made the conscious aware decision. They're just observing. You're neutral. So what you've done is you've taken your car out of gear and you're just kind of sitting there. You're observing it. You're not empowering it. You're not revving the engine. You're not going ooh ah and why don't you get a closer look and race to it? No. So you've nullified any power going to it by simply observing it with that intent in mind. That you look at it, I'm not intending to empower this, I am looking to see what I need to see to change the present moment. And what you'll find is you're going to start creating things that you'll see for yourself. Because when you get into this state of mind, and you can only get there meditatively, you must be inside self. And that doesn't mean that you have to sit down in a yoga position with your, fingers this way and that. There's no rules to this, guys. That's the thing about yoga, or any discipline. It says, well, if you do it this way, and this way, stand on your head, spit nickels, spin 3 times, and punch a cat, this effect will occur. No, it's not how it works. You just got to be inside your own now moment, your own star-centered universe. You. All right? So I'm going to take all the mysticism out of it, okay? You'll find your way to do your thing. There are no rules. That's the thing about creation. There are none. There's the golden rule, yes, when you get into the grand scheme of things. But as far as physical, no. I don't see any. It's because we can spend a lifetime searching for the right way to do something because this guru or that guru or this teacher or that, whatever told you have to do it this way. That's one of the things I love about Bill Donahue. He's on the same page as that. He says, you'll find what you need to do to get that moment, the click, right? And you'll find sometimes when you're not even looking, it'll hit you out of the blue, right? Imagine that. How cool is that? So what I'm trying to do is alleviate the pressure from you. So I just got your note there, Ninch. Thank you. I'm just checking on Skype for a sec. Yeah. Thank you, Susie. Much obliged, love. Anyway, I will get back to this thing that we need to stop doing. Gathering thoughts here. Excuse me, they're coming in fast and furious. Got to sort through this stuff.
Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Indeed it is. Good evening all, and welcome to another episode of Outside the Box Open Forum. Yeah, I kind of like it that way. That way you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to come up and who's going to show, and it's the way creation should be, I think. Anyway, yours truly, hostess, whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter to me. Kate of Gaia. So anyway, yeah, interesting energy today. I think I put the question out: is Mercury still in retrograde or what? Anyway, it's been a good day. Don't take the wrong impression there. It's just very interesting energies. Yeah, I had a great chat with Colleen earlier today, Cindy, Ninja, and I got and Jeremiah, which was kind of I think I shocked him. He called. Guys, I gotta say this. It's like Jeremiah called. I guess I give my cell number out. You know, it's not. I don't have any secrets. Okay, and if you're going to be the open note of C or love unconditional, then you kind of gotta not only think that way but be that way. You see, so I didn't get a chance to. I missed the call last night. I didn't get a chance to call back. But I had to pop out and get some bread and lettuce, and so I grabbed my phone and thought, oh, okay, well, so I walked down to get my car, and I called him, and it's kind of fun. I don't know, maybe my voice sounds different on a telephone or something. I don't know. I really don't know, but I called, and he said, who's this calling? And I said, you're the one that called me. And I just said, does my voice sound that different on the phone than the radio? And then it's like, but I understand what it is. I really do, and I'm trying my best to just like kind of break this paradigm thing, okay? And it's a no harm, no foul. It was. I find it very blissfully innocent and such a beautiful and pure energy. So again, it works both ways, right? So here's the thing, guys. If someone calls, I'll answer the phone. Someone tags me, and I'm there. I do that. I kind of expect the same thing when I call someone that they might answer their phone or Skype or whatever. It kind of works both ways. And at the end of the day, I'm still me. So maybe this is just my real. I know Colleen wasn't surprised at all. I've been trying to call her for ages, and of course other people that I talk to all the time. So it was just neat. I had a couple of very beautiful back-to-back moments like this with Bryce and his friend Ross, and of course Jeremiah. So it's. I don't know. I don't even know how to put it into words, but I got to tell you, it is. I just love the ability of knowing that I can. No preconceived notions of any kind whatsoever. And if I need to call someone, I'll call them. It's just kind of it's what I do. So if you do contact me and I get back to you, don't be surprised. I make a very concerted effort into making sure that if someone takes the time, they're as equally valuable time as mine to call or connect. I will do my utmost to make sure that within a reasonable time frame, if it's not a call or say an email or whatever. And that's the other thing too I should mention. Emails. I check my emails every 2-3 days kind of thing, because I don't deal a lot in email. I do get the odd one here and there. Most of the emails I go through are all Facebook posts and whatnot. So usually if I leave it for a day or two, I've got a couple hundred emails to go through. Like I said, most of those are Facebook posts, and I'm sure, as many of you are aware, if you have that, that feature activated on Facebook, you get a lot of emails too. So, and of course, it starts to rain. So I think I might have to toss a song on here, guys, before this starts. It was looking like it was going to clear right up. It tried to rain earlier, but tell you what, I'm going to throw a song on. I'm going to throw on Field of Broken Dreams and get the energy set, and I'll be right back. So bear with me, guys. So here's Field of Broken Dreams. I just got to kind of get myself resituated here. In as much as we try to do something we feel is right within the physical, of course, absolutely, yes, I get it. I do it every day. I also do it from the perspective of the spiritual being the power point of it, not what I'm doing in the physical, but what I'm thinking in the ether and manifesting it through this conduit called the body. Right? We are literally between worlds here. Your blood is proof of that. Your blood is both physical and ether at the same time. Covered that in the essays, Raiding Cats and Dogs. Great big thanks to Robert Otte and Matt Presti and of course Walt Russell and Russellian Science and what have you, for that beautiful gem of truth. You know, that's the thing too, is when I find things that shift my perspective or give me another way to look at it to confirm something I was already suspecting, I like to make it known to people. Thank you. You know, who delivered it and who's walking this path with the rest of us, you know. So I'll use an analogy here, not to get specific. Let's say you decided you're going to set up a website to combat chemtrails. This, I don't care what it is, combat anything or, you know, change something or whatever. I'm going to show you the catch-22 and the art of wu-wei here. So like I have my Kate of Gaia.wordpress.com site. What you will see on it is all things neutral. You can pick and choose. I'm trying to deal through the ether perspective and share some things that people may not have noticed yet. And during that was one of the things we came up talking with Colleen today. You know, the thought just left me too. There I go. I gotta tell her, you know. What was it? It'll come back. See what I mean? I got a tenuous connection tonight. Must be the rain. But anyway, getting back to this website you put together for, quote, chemtrails, unquote, it would make more sense to me, yeah, of course, get the information out. And I'm starting to be a whole lot less gentle about this with people, a whole lot less forgiving based on what I'm seeing for myself and what I'm feeling and uncovering and things that are very difficult to put into words most days. So, if you were to put let's say, a website like that up, what are you actually doing? Well, yes, you're making others aware of something, right? Great. Glad to hear it. But here's the problem with the ego and the physical. The ego looks at it and stares at it and goes, ooh, oh no, okay? That's a fact. You can take websites like Prison Planet. You can take a whole lot of fear porn sites. Have a look at them. What are they selling you? Selling you nothing but fear. They're showing you all the problems to stare at. Not one solution offered. And I'll tell you what you're doing when you're staring at this shit. You're empowering it. You're making it possible for it to continue. You know, I'm sure the intent is good for the most part with many. But what are you really doing? And what responsibility are you taking to nullify all of the people that pop to your site? Because all of numbers, you know. This I know for a fact, right? It's all about numbers. What are you actually doing to these people? Well, what you're doing is potentially you're waking them up to things that they may not have noticed. But once awakened to it, depending on how you handle it, you're either going to put these people into stark raving fear, which they will be anyway. As soon as you tell them that the chemtrails are doing this and this and this and this and this and this and you know, vaccines and all the rest of this fear porn shit. What are you doing? Well, you're ramping up the fear. And that's another reason there's the mirror of our light in terms of the fear porn getting ramped up, but it's also being created by us as well. Those that are focused on, you know, it being something evil instead of balanced out with good and evil. You see, for me, someone that would come out and say, well, you know, you got chemtrails, and what this is for, just so you know, it has a potential to harm people. However, do not be, now that you're aware of it, it cannot harm you anymore. And please don't be staring at it because you're just empowering it.
I've never seen before my eyes this dream. I've never known what makes this child to see. Like tears from a mountain pouring gently to the sea, a curiosity. Will you dare to touch my soul? Is love so frail that we can't hope to be more than we are, more than our hearts can see? And if for any reason on this field of broken dreams we stand to lose it all, then for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, for lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases the rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. It's never clear, this path of destiny. That's why we're here, to find our need to be. Elusive as a rainbow, we can try to steal the gold, but she'll give it willingly. Will you dare to ask her though? We'll find a way, we must believe in us. There'll come a day, we'll soar, and when it does, the sky will have no boundaries. I will challenge every sea, I will never lose this dream. 'Cause for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, for lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases the rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. On this field of broken dreams.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Oh, and he used to hit that button. Too funny. Well, there you go. All right, sort of resituated, and there you have it. So listen, guys, there's a couple of things I definitely I want to get out tonight. I'm going to go into it in obviously some detail, in greater detail tomorrow on this. This for me is a very critical subject because until we start breaking through certain paradigms and programs that are running so deep and dark in people, and it's all based in duality, all right? Because when we are thinking we are doing something good, we are in fact doing something equally evil at the same time, and we have to learn to see what it is. I know that for any ego is very difficult to, quote, believe, unquote, but for me this is a critical pivot point that people need to start to really have a serious look at, because you'll find yourself taking one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back all the time. And I think it would be much better if we all just kept walking forward. That's just my opinion. You can share that or not. It's entirely up to you. But for me, I think it's a good idea. So I will mention, I'm hoping that Ninja is going to be joining me on criticalmassradio.co.uk tomorrow from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, which is 6 to 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So it's the evening show I do every Tuesday, and I've been very happy